problem.
That's some actual production value.
Only good bits in the movie, and you've just spoiled them.
So, like, who's technically hosting this? We have 4 hosts and 1 guest. So how do we do this?
Hello.
That's a good question, Dark Hour. I don't know. Uninspired.
Introduce it.
Yeah.
How about this? You guys do your intro first, and then we'll do ours.
We don't have an intro. We just hit the go live button midway through sentences. We've done ours already.
Okay, fine. So anyway, welcome everybody to the 27th most ambitious crossover in the history of YouTube. The Two Hoes Beesup breakdown crossover 33, 49, 57, whatever number. And we have Mauler too. So actually both of our shows. This is interesting. It's funny because I have my Hoducer shirt on, and I'm neither I have no admin privileges. I'm a producer and a host with no admin privileges because I give them up. So
I've taken them away.
Yeah, and I'm glad Beesup has some production value for just from one episode. That's okay.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Listen,
we're all kind of allied. We're all kind of an alliance. Beesup and Two Hoes have kind of grown together. You guys have just grown significantly faster than us. That's all.
we're growing normally. You guys are growing exponentially. It's all right. But yeah, man. Jason Takes Manhattan, Friday the 13th, Part 8. What else is there to say?
I mean, just for some context, right? So I had no idea this film even existed until I learned that we were doing this, apparently on my channel. So that's fantastic. And
we were on my channel too.
Only learned today as well whose suggestion it was. So I was going to say that I want someone to tell me, because I need to send you an envelope that's just overflowing with shit to get you back for making me watch this movie. And it's Cynic. So send me your address in private chat, and I will I'll get that sent over to you. What a film.
Looking forward to that shipment. Awesome.
Dude, yeah. Cynic, I mean, out of all the Jason movies that you could have chosen, I was genuinely surprised that you chose this one.
Yeah.
I've seen all of them, and I was like, Jason Takes Manhattan? Okay, we can do that. Sure, cool.
Yeah, I wanted this one because when I was a little kid, I remember I had like a pen pal when I was way too young to be watching this movie in like 2nd or 3rd grade. And I remember telling them that this was my favorite movie.
That is it. Cynic's favorite movie, Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Crazy enough, this is Part 8, dude. Horror sequels have no end, especially if they started in the 80s. So that is crazy. It is actually the last movie that Paramount made on the franchise. And then they kind of gave up after it. And they sold the credits. They sold it to New Line. They sold the rights to New Line, which is why we were able to get Freddy versus Jason without any kind of copyright disputes.
Yep.
Basically, it's kind of interesting. It's also the most expensive. Well, at the time, was the most expensive Friday the 13th film with a budget of $5 million, if I remember correctly.
Yep, and it was the lowest grossing, I think, too, at that point.
Yep. I mean,
having seen it, I mean, it made about 15 million, and that's at least 14 million too much. So I don't understand how that happened.
Smart marketing. That poster is awesome.
I wish I could highlight this comment, but Jay Grave in the yes, that one. Jason takes a boat and he eventually shows up in Manhattan, which is basically the situation.
Yep.
And you just can't predict the ending, with what you end up getting. As someone who's just not as familiar, that was a bit of a shock.
To this day, I have no idea what really is going on at the end. This is definitely the one where they try the most symbolism out of all of the Friday the 13th movies.
I wouldn't even call it symbolism. I just call it utter nonsense, dude.
Yeah, and the ending that ended up on the cutting room floor is way worse than what we actually got.
Holy God.
Yeah.
I watched the little documentary. They actually had 2 completely independent movies and just sellotaped them together at about the 20-minute mark from the end. When they did the whole boat thing, that's one film, and then they get to New York and they say, well, fuck it, we'll just stick that on. We don't have any other ideas for how to round this off. Then it becomes a very different movie, and they try to play it as like a comedy for a bit. All the funny stuff happens before when it's not trying to be funny, and then they try and make it funny, and it's it doesn't really work. I mean, it's kind of funny still, but not for the ways it wants to be.
Yeah, it's funny because it's so bad. And even as a slasher movie, it doesn't really function very well because the kills are really boring and not gory or anything like that.
Hey, the best kill in the entire series is in this one. Don't besmirch the one. Yes, in my opinion, we'll get to it. The one kill is the best kill.
Nah, that's in part 7. The tree and the person that was in the sleeping bag.
That one's good too, but I really like the boxing match.
I still like Jason X. Okay. I still like Cryo Freeze and Jason X. I think that's like one of the best kills of the entire franchise. Just because it's so cool.
It's a solid kill.
Oh man.
Well, I guess we should probably let everybody know what the hell we're about to do. So normally on Two Hose, we go around the round table, or in this case, the Pentagon table, and we give our first experience with this movie. Little Platoon apparently has already kind of given his, so I think we'll give him a pass. And I guess we'll go to Cynic then.
Yeah, I think this was the first Jason movie I ever watched, and I was really little, and I snuck it. I wasn't supposed to watch it, and I kind of became obsessed with monsters because of it. So I really liked. I tried to watch like Nightmare on Elm Street and all that stuff. But this is the movie that kicked off my love of slasher movies.
This is the movie that did
that. It's a bad movie, but when you're a little kid and you're seeing this guy, run around, it's it's kind of frightening and cool.
Even children should know better.
I will do this in a slightly different way. I will let Mauler go next because I think that this is the Two Hose segment. I'll just do it the Two Hose style. So.
Well, I've spoken on streams before about how my dad was a bit of a gambler with me with movies and wanted to get me watching some of his favorites as early as possible. So I ended up seeing a whole set all at once when I hit like 8 years old. He was like, "That's good enough for Predator, Alien, Terminator, and Silence of the Lambs was the more controversial one that he threw in." But I loved them all. I thought they were amazing. And so I was like, I want to see more films where a group of people have to deal with some horrifying thing that's killing them, because I apparently love that genre now. That's like my whole thing. It's great. And so slashes were off the table for me. Those decidedly like, you can't see that. Even though you've seen all of them and you love them, you can't see that. And so whenever they were gone, I was just like, well, time to go try and watch some slasher movies because I'm not allowed to see those ones. And I guess maybe it ruined me on them because I was like, man, these are the ones I can't even see. So imagine how good these are going to be. And like, I distinctly remember I think I watched Halloween first, which is a different experience. If you watch those other ones I mentioned first, you're just like, okay. I watched Elm Street back in the day and I was like, uh-huh. And then I watched Friday the 13th and I was like, I was like, this, I'm not sure what's going on. I was like, because I watched The Hills Have Eyes as well, and I remember just being like, I wish there was more something that I was enjoying in the other ones that I, have come to realize. There's a lot of filmmaking that is simply, I think, far better in the set I was mentioning, but also character work. I really love that in my horror films. It's one of the big issues I took with Alien Romulus recently, and just some other ones, but. Yeah, it kind of permanently put me off slashers, that experience. I never ended up watching any more Elm Streets. I never watched any more Halloweens, except maybe Halloween H2O for some reason. I think it was Sister.
Oh, man.
Hey, that's not a terrible one. Leave that one alone.
And Friday the 13th, I hadn't seen basically any of them. And so being like, I agreed to come on this podcast. I had no idea what film we were even watching. Friday, I was like, the 8th one. Sure, let's go. And the experience was wild, and the worst of it is the gaps between the hilarious nonsense. I quite enjoy when the film gets real silly, but most thing I just want to clarify with people who know their lore: can Jason teleport like canonically?
No.
He definitely over teleports in this one. I noticed that on this rewatch.
I thought he was noticing it in this film. The part with the disco area, I thought he himself was realizing, like, I can teleport. This is amazing. I was like, is that a thing?
No. It is shockingly blatant. It's so. I mean, you get this sense with some films when like horror movie villains teleport that they think they can get away with it, but this film, they don't even try to get away with it. He's just like, 1 minute he's down on the street, and then he's at the top story of a building, and then he's up a pole somewhere, and then he's somewhere else. And it's like, fuck it. We don't need to anchor characters in time or place. That makes this really, really tense and thrilling.
Yeah, it's utter nonsense, the amount of teleportation that he does in this movie. And I mean, it's even more nonsense when you think that the franchise started with just Jason's mom killing people in an actual normal, realistic way. And this is where we are.
Yeah, 7 or 8 years after the first one, I believe. And we're at this point. And I think this was also the 4th one in the row. Like, I think movies came out in like 85, 86, 87, and 88. Like 4 straight 4 years.
Do any of them lead into this one? Like, would this film make more sense if I had seen earlier ones?
No, that's why I felt comfortable picking this, because it just doesn't make a fucking difference if you've seen the other ones or not.
No, the end of each one, he ends up dying and falling in the lake and sinking every time, and he gets revived somehow, some way.
I watched this with someone and they were like, "Oh, how did he end up in the lake?" And I was like, "I don't know. Maybe
it doesn't matter."
I actually speculated because I haven't seen them. I was like, "I think maybe he respawns in lakes. Like whenever you kill him, he congeals in a lake. There he is."
That's his respawn point.
To set up the actual canon, he's in that lake because the ghost of the protagonist's father jumped out of the lake in the last movie and took him down into the lake.
Yeah, Friday the 13th Part 7.
That sums it up there.
Yeah,
something with like a mother as well. Didn't his mom? Did she die? Was that the first one?
That was the first one.
She died at the end of the first movie. Yeah.
Yeah, she was decapitated
in a cool way too.
And then didn't she? If I recall correctly, he just had her head in the second one, just like just hanging around.
Just hanging out.
He did.
He used it as a scare.
They all kind of run together for me. Like all of them. Well, not so much the first and second one, but after he gets the hockey mask, they all start running together for me.
Right? Yeah.
Third one was when he got the hockey mask, and then they all start to run together for me from that point, because there's not much differentiating him visually. So I'm
like if you know the series, that's part of the problem, is like every movie ignores the previous one, so it doesn't even matter. Like he looks different in every movie, even though like part 2, 3, and 4 all take place on the same weekend.
Yep.
Yeah. He gets more and more, but for the most part, he just gets more and more decayed. That's pretty much what it is. He has like different.
He actually gets skin in this movie. He looked worse in the previous movie. He was like rotted away, and you could see like a lot of his skeleton. And in this one, he looks completely different and kind of more intact, even though he's it takes place later.
I assume
Mueller.
I wasn't the only one who found the face reveal to be fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
it was so bad.
Dude, the face that they used in Part 7 at the end of Part 7 was much better and scarier than this.
Wasn't it the one that was like the skull that was like,
It's basically the half melted skull that's really gooey and disgusting. This one looks cartoonish.
And that's the one where the mask like explodes around it, right? Like when it like stretches and it like cracks around his face. Is that right?
It's like that is it. They could have just reused that. Plus they had a higher budget, man. I don't know why his face looks so bad.
Because it's New York. I mean, it's just
everybody. Toxic waste. It'll do it to you.
Well, yeah, toxic waste in the sewers. Oh yeah.
Uninspired. What was your first time with this one?
I'm a huge horror fan. I've been watching slashers since I was basically like 3 years old. So I've seen all the Friday the 13th movies probably over a dozen times, man. Same with Nightmare on Elm Street, although I prefer Freddy. But Jason is pretty cool. I think that he's a cool character, but it kind of gets tiring after a while, whereas you're kind of just watching for the creative kills. So Jason Takes Manhattan, I hadn't watched it in, I would say, almost a decade at this point. But I really did forget how long it takes him to get to Manhattan. That was my biggest issue, because I was like, what the fuck is this? We're 1 hour into the movie.
That might be the most realistic thing. Anybody who's ever tried to travel into Manhattan will understand exactly why it took him so long.
How did he get there? Well, and we'll get there, but Jesus.
Yeah,
on the boat to Manhattan. So ridiculous.
But I think it's a cool campy movie. It's definitely not the best Friday the 13th film. I think that the best Friday the 13th films are the original and the 2009 Michael Bay produced, I guess,
that one's pretty solid. The reboot,
yeah.
Jason Takes New Jersey Transit.
Wait, Michael Bay made a Jason movie?
No, he produced the reboot, like / remake. It's with Nadia from American Pie. Well, I mean, she gets killed in like the first 2 minutes, but
it is like peak Friday the 13th.
Yeah, it's probably the best if you really want to see what a good Friday the 13th movie can be, where it's Jason as the killer and not his mom. You should watch the 2009 version. I think that's
also as in saying if you want to see a movie that's still bad, but the best version of that bad movie.
Exactly.
2009 one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much my experience with Jason Takes Manhattan. I think it's a campy, stupid, but enjoyable movie. I don't know why. I think you just can't hate it too much because it's just so dumb.
So I'll be saying this probably. I will probably be saying this multiple times throughout the stream. So I don't remember the first time I saw this because I kind of much like many people, I think I saw them out of order. Partially because toward the end they kind of stopped advertising them as parts this, that, and they just kind of threw the tag name onto it. So but one of my favorite things is just the way people in New York react in this movie. Being a person who grew up very close to New York, been in Manhattan many times, I've seen people and how they react to like shit that goes down, and it's very accurate. And I'm honestly just I think this is going to be fun to make fun of, but this is a bit different for everybody out in the audience. This is how me and Uninspired run our shows that we do on Saturdays. Two Hoes. And everybody here on the panel has been on the show before, so they're all familiar with the format. But yeah, we use slides and clips and go through it. It's there's some, as Cynic would say, there's some production value to this one.
Woo!
So you guys, anybody object to starting the movie?
No, I just want to mention I'm glad we kept the Rings of Power background.
Oh yeah.
Yes. I didn't even think of that. I don't have I had to give up my admin privileges for Platoon has given up. Platoon said that he doesn't want to be part of this, and he took off.
Yeah, someone said we were starting the movie, and I suddenly realized I actually can't do this anymore. Sorry. Goodbye.
I didn't sign up for this. I want to see great movies.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's start. So Paramount Pictures, hey man, Paramount is still going on, so I can't fault them for that. They went to New Line Cinema after, as I said before, and New Line Cinema is, those of you who know me know it is the house that Freddy built. So it's pretty cool. We get Freddy versus Jason. I still love that movie, and I see that the chat also loves that movie.
Yeah,
it is Friday the 13th, Part 8. Jason Takes Manhattan. Well, I don't have a good voice for this, so either Platoon or Mahler, you have to read this in a nice, good, raspy voice.
A graspy voice?
Raspy. Sorry.
What is a graspy voice?
13th, Part 8. Jason Takes Manhattan. Something like that. I'm not from the UK.
13th, Part 8. Jason Takes Manhattan.
Incredible. And yeah, well, welcome to Manhattan, which we won't see again for the next 60 minutes, probably.
Yeah,
my favorite part is that those four dudes just chill on that whatever the hell it is, the entire movie until the end.
It's set up and payoff, right? They set up that people exist in New York, and then about an hour and 20 minutes later, we meet them briefly, and then they go away. This is the part of the movie that I upped it to 1.5 speed. And then it sort of stayed. I actually found immediately, basically, it actually improves almost everything about it. It improves the song that plays over the beginning of this entire thing, which is really shit. And then if you up it to a reasonable pace, the song actually becomes significantly better. It's a bit more catchy.
I actually,
I kind of recommend that.
Are you saying you watched the whole thing on 1.5?
Yes, I actually did. Apart from there's one moment when I couldn't figure out what the hell was happening, and I slowed it down, and I still couldn't figure out what the hell was happening, so I sped it up again. But it's so slow. There's these really even in 1.5,
really
the gaps between the kills. Oh, Jason is walking towards someone, and like what feels like half an hour later, oh, Jason is still walking toward that person. I don't need to see all of this.
Genuinely insulted, just like I do in the Freddy movies, if they chase for a while and then they just stab. If you just stab someone and that's the kill, I'm like, oh, you did not just cost me 10 minutes of my life just to see him go boop.
So yeah, or in this one, someone gets choked to death. It's a very boring set of kills in this movie.
Yeah, that's true.
What was it? Grave Rob in the chat says Jason is canonically from New Jersey. That is true. And where it is filmed, it was I don't remember what town it's
Vancouver?
over on the west. No. I mean the original one where Camp Crystal Lake is. It's over on the other side of New Jersey. Like so, like Manhattan is northeast of New Jersey, and then if you go northwest, that's where the Delaware Water Gap is, or at least one part of the Delaware Water Gap, and that's where the camp is. I actually stayed in 8th grade. There was an overnight retreat for my school. It was like because you're gonna go into high school. It's like a bonding trip for your class, and then I moved out of that town, so I bonded with people I was gonna leave, and it was right across the lake from where they filmed it, so you can actually see the original Camp Crystal Lake, which has like a weird name. It's like a derivative of a Native American name. It's like Ho Pod Tu Ka Ka Da Da or something like that. And I'll look it up. I'll look it up. It's like a bunch of just like 3-syllable, like 3-letter.
It's just a bunch of phonetics. That's it.
Yeah, just a bunch of phonetics. And it's actually like a really nice place, like the area that you're in. It was, they made it look really raggedy for the original filming.
Oh, dude. But so Rob Hedden, who wrote and directed this is actually his first feature film ever. So we are watching his, I guess you'd say his magnum opus. This is his masterpiece. What he wants us to remember him by. But yeah. So we start off with sex because, man, this is a slasher. This is an 80s movie. And we meet our two characters who are Jimmy and Susie. Now, Jimmy is basically telling us that the story of Jason. He's basically telling Susie about what happened in the events of the first movie. And the radio also establishes that they're going to New York because these are, I guess, Camp Crystal Lake high school graduates. Yeah.
So I think they try to they basically make it that Crystal Lake is the town name, not just the camp, because they say Crystal Lake High, I believe. And oh, by the way, it's in Hardwick, New Jersey. It's Camp No B Bosco. So I wasn't having as much of a stroke as people seem to think.
Hey, we're too far off. But yeah, I don't know. It kind of says that they're Camp Crystal Lake senior high school graduates and that they're going to be going to New York to celebrate. So Jimmy goes to tow the anchor holder, which is conveniently placed next to, well, how much is that? 3,000 volts. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
There are a lot of sort of boat-based health and safety violations that take place during this movie, and this being one of them. Doesn't he only goes to throw the anchor in like shortly before they're due to have sex, and they actually teleport as well because he lies down on one side of the bed and then the next shot he's on the other side of the bed. I might have got that confused because they have exactly the same hair and it's hard to tell them apart, but I think I'm right in saying they do teleport. But I don't know what the boat was doing the entire time they were there. If he's only now dropping the anchor, was it just sort of like drifting around? Because if you're in a marina, you just tie up. This is how bored I was of the movie already. I'm just reminiscing about living on a boat and all the things that the film does wrong with boats.
Technically, it was drifting around. That was like the first shot of the boat. It was just drifting. So yeah, these dudes would probably just be out at sea. You'd have like an open water, I guess, sequel if Jason wasn't popping up.
It also looks like the lake is populated again, which is just odd after all of the events that have happened at that lake. There are still.
And what's even more odd is the fact that Susie doesn't know about the events, because when Jimmy is telling her about it, she's like, "Oh my God, what happened there?"
Yeah, she must have been a transfer student. Just showed up.
Yeah, but well, she's a graduate, isn't she? So, see, we're already having problems with the movie. There we go.
Oh, there's a lot. Don't worry, there's more logical fallacies to come.
Did they do the thing where he says something like he brings up the subject and then she asks him and then he says, "Oh, it doesn't matter." And then that's like our excuse for an exposition scene, basically. Character brings it up, character doesn't want to talk about it, character is made to talk about it. It's brilliant stuff.
Great dialogue. This is, whatever his name is, Rob Heaton. Absolute magnificent writing on your end.
Yeah.
And there he is. Kind of looking like the statue that they have in the actual lake in Minnesota, I think it is. Is that where they have the Jason lake statue under the lake? Or they removed it, I think.
Did any previous films establish how this happens? So he's down here, and it looks like he's tied up with a chain, but he also happens to be lying on a power line. Is that like an important mechanical bit at the end of the previous Jason movie, or is he just?
Nope. He also wasn't wearing gloves in the last movie either.
The best part is that power line
resurrected by electric before, hasn't he? Like he got struck by lightning at some point.
Yeah, he was struck by lightning.
Yeah.
That power line looks very new, so it's like they may have laid that down, just lifted him up, put it underneath him, and then put it back.
That was pretty much it. They're like, "Fuck it, we don't want to touch Jason. Let's just move him around."
I just want to make a slight thing. There's a couple people saying that they were in my stream. Yes, we are simulcasting this one because technically it's for both shows. But if you are watching on my channel and don't want to watch on my channel, that's fine. I'm not offended. But so everybody knows that it's going on.
So yeah, as you can see, the line breaks and he gets electrocuted, and that is how Jason comes back to life for Jason taking over Manhattan. There he is with his weirdly grimy, gooey hands.
It's a lot of flesh for being down there for as long as he's been.
Oh yeah, there's a ton. Now,
of
course,
he's a slime factor in this film. He slimes up everything wherever he goes. He's like Slimer, I guess.
Yeah, it's weird too. Now, of course, Jimmy scares Susie because fuck it, he's a boyfriend, and this is what they do in horror movies every time at the beginning for the couple that's about to die. And speaking of about to die, I do have a clip for you, ladies and gentlemen.
There's no way he would pull that out with that glove covered in all that grime and just slip it right off.
Baby. Got it. The man's got it. I like that the mask is movie quality. Like it has a perfect reproduction of the cut that happened in part 3, and this is just a mask that this guy happened to have.
It's weird. I guess now they just make hockey masks with specific, Jason's specific
axe cut in it.
Yep, axe cuts. It's so weird, man. And of course, Jason picks it up and he just goes back to killing. And that's probably one of the, I guess, stupidest kill. I mean, in this situation, I would fight, wouldn't you? Like
all of these kills have like no tension at all either.
But it's such an unthreatening weapon to stab someone with. I don't even know what it is. What is that thing? It's just a stick with some prongs on it. What's it for?
I thought it was a harpoon. Yeah, is it not? Yeah. Like a shitty harpoon, but still.
It's a really shitty harpoon. Because it's like harpoons are supposed to be like spear-like. They have to, go a long way in and catch. That's like you roast marshmallows with it or something.
Mini trident. That's basically what it is. Yeah. The actress was actually happy.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying the actress was happy because her prosthetic boobs. She said that they were bigger than her actual boobs, so she was yeah. So she said that she was happy to be killed because they propped up her boobs. So yeah,
that kill was also pretty funny because it looks like he is actually slowly reaching in, like the actor can't go any faster, and so she's just been told just scream until he gets.
It looks like she's trying not to laugh in a couple moments.
Oh, dude, that's the problem I have with the main character. She looks like she's constantly about to crack a smile.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Oh man, especially when I was doing
probably
the
some
stills.
self-awareness going on. So,
oh, dude, for sure. Because when I was doing the stills and I was going through frame by frame, sometimes you could see that she's smiling during some of those like really quick 1 second cutaways, and I was like, man, this is crazy that they kept her as the lead, considering that they actually replaced the dude that plays her boyfriend 2 weeks into filming, because the producer said that the original actor couldn't act. And that was it. So,
has he seen the people in his movie?
Yeah, I was gonna ask, how bad could he have been?
dude, he was bad.
Actually,
there are some line deliveries in this film that are shocking.
I remember this actually. K Artware, Jason was a guest on the Arsenio Hall talk show to promote this movie. And he didn't say anything. He just sat there, and every time Arsenio Hall said something, he just looked at him and then like looked back at the camera. I remember seeing that.
Oh man. So now we meet Rennie, who is our main character on the left, and Colleen, who is I guess her teacher. So it's basically a teacher-student relationship, except they're kind of close. The teacher considers Rennie her best student and gifts her a pen because, you know, this will be relevant later in one scene. And
well, that was my question about it, because like she says, oh, this is the pen, and it said that Stephen King used it, I think she said, doesn't it? Does that, have I missed the bit where that becomes relevant, like as a payoff later in the movie? I assumed that something about this would be very important for us to see and to know, and it doesn't seem that way.
What was it? She stabs him once in
the eye with it.
Oh, that's what she used. Okay, pen is mightier than sword, etc.
Yeah,
and it's such a weird scene because he just turns around and walks away too.
I wonder if this is the pen which was used to write a child orgy with. That's all I wonder.
It's a Stephen King pen, so it should explode when it runs out of ideas for what to do with its story, but it doesn't do that in this film either.
You see, if it was Freddy, at least we'd have like a cool "the pen is mightier than the sword" bitch line. You know, you'd have the bitch for extra flair. But of course, the Camp Crystal Lake boat gets here somehow. Yeah,
who knows?
Jason just up anchored and let it go. It's what he did. He wanted it to get to this point for the plot to happen.
Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. And of course, the deckhand actually sees this, and the deckhand is just like, "All right, cool. Fuck it. It's probably Jason, and he's back." But we finally meet Charles. Now, this actor, I think he's actually a character actor or something like that. But I've seen him in good movies, so I was actually surprised to see him here because I didn't recognize him as a kid, but now I do. And I'm like, man, his career must have been in the
yeah, but he is like the lone fun character in this movie.
He's the only like kind of realistic character, I guess. Pretty much. So this is Charles, who is Rennie's uncle, yes, and legal guardian. Basically informs the teacher that Susie and Jimmy haven't arrived because they've been killed, of course. Now, people in the chat, please remember the amount of extras that you see hanging around this boat, because they kind of just disappear.
It dwindles quickly.
Oh yeah, really, really quickly. And we get like throwaway lines, and that's pretty much it. We have 1 or 2 lines. And of course, Rennie wasn't actually supposed to be on the boat. That is a subject of discussion because Rennie has a fear.
Aquaphobia.
Yeah. She's scared of the water, basically. Now, we meet Sean, who is Rennie's. Are they actually boyfriend and girlfriend, or are they just friends that get together at the end of the movie?
I don't remember.
Sure. Yes.
Both. It doesn't matter is the answer to that question. It really should, but it doesn't. I'm willing to assume that they had a thing, kind of, maybe, because the evil uncle guy seems to think they have a thing. I was just more interested in this scene where, like, because they're trying to do really, really rapid fire character establishment stuff. And so this guy, his father is the captain of the ship, and they want, for reasons that don't really become relevant much later on in the film, he wants to pass the torch over to his son, whom doesn't know what he's doing. So it's very lucky that he doesn't know what he's doing, because they already know that there's a massive storm coming. So he's just like, no, you can be the captain now. I said, but if that had happened, everyone would have died. I don't think it's legal to do that either. I'm sure there's some law that says you can't just make random people captains of a passenger ship. That's not how it works, even if they are your son.
Dude, when the captain guy was like, later on, he's like, you know, when you have a son, you know, don't be too hard on him. I was like, what the? Phil, do you think you've justified?
It kind of makes you think like, oh, they tried. You know, that's pretty much it.
How cute.
They tried. That is, everyone just dies. So that's one thing that I don't like about the movie, is that there's kind of not really any moral, how do I say this, moral killing, except for one instance later on in the film. But Jason just kind of kills anyone for anything, and people just die.
Yeah, this goes against everything that Jason was. I don't know. I guess you could say any canon that does actually have a through line is he just leaves Crystal Lake for no reason and decides to knock these people for no reason.
The one you're referring to is a moral kill. When I was watching that scene, I totally pictured it as like, Jason, thank you, you saved me from the rapist. He'd be like, the who? The what?
It's like they were gonna get to you first. You know, they were just in the way. Oh man. So it was established the dad, the son, gives him the gift and makes him captain. He fucks up and he runs it. Like he kind of just runs
that
off.
Still pretty much sums up the whole scene, might I add. It's just that's fantastic.
And we are on the Lazarus. Oh my god, the ship is called
By fucks up. Like, so he tells him to take command of the ship, and he's like, he says, "What do we do first?" He's like, "I turn it 180 degrees." No, what's that going to achieve? And then the thing he forgets to do, because it's not like there's some really like bit of technical knowledge that, you know, the dad's tried to teach him all this stuff, and there's just some things he just can't get. It's not anything like that. He just forgets to blow his horn, and then. Yep. That's kind of it. But so like, if he doesn't even know the basics, why was that ever an idea? I never really get the sense that he's been taught anything.
Yeah, because they are like they established that he's supposed to be an actual captain, basically, like at that level. So missing all mini stuff like this, it just
his dad thinks that all of his captainhood just gets passed on genetically. He didn't actually have.
I thought that was funny. Yeah. He's like, "What kind of captain's son doesn't know how to do a ship?" It's like, what do you mean?
He's the son of a captain, for God's sake. You ought to know how to do this.
Also, why is there a hat in a hammock? I haven't just like spotted that. Why?
Hell of a set designer.
Where do you keep
that I wouldn't be shocked if that was just somebody that was designing the set, put their hat there and forgot it. I'm sorry, Baller. What'd you say?
No, I said, where do you keep your hats? I've got my hat hammock, don't you?
And now we have another scene with Rennie and Sean. Sean is uninteresting as fuck. He's probably one of the blandest boyfriends in the Friday the 13th movies, which is saying a lot. And he gives her a mini Statue of Liberty necklace, which I guess becomes relevant later, probably. And now we have,
they look like a Temu, Kyle Reese, and Sarah Connor, like with their hair.
Hey, I'll tell you one thing: of all of the actors in this movie, this guy's got a head of hair on him. Like he's got a nice head of hair.
He's looking good.
Jealous of that hair.
And so Uncle Charles and Rennie are talking, and Charles is basically just concerned for her fear of water, basically. But Rennie says that she wants to face her fears, whatever the fuck that means, especially considering what we're going to see later on in the movie with weird ass apparitions and shit. But we managed to meet Wayne. I like Wayne, man. I like Wayne. It's pretty cool.
He gets used. He gets the Joker treatment. He gets used and gets killed at the end for nothing.
Basically.
There's some random found footage moments in this movie.
Yeah, random found footage stuff. And we also meet JJ.
He delivers one good line and he receives one good line. I think it's actually in this scene he delivers a fairly good line, because I don't even know why she's in the movie, but she's there, and so she gets to have guitar solos because it's the 80s. I think that's why she's there. So she's bragging about it, and he says, "Oh yeah, your parents really came through." And I thought, I don't mind where that could be going. You know, You've got rebellious punk rocker, but the guy sees through it because he sees that actually it's her parents who funded it all, so she's really not that rebellious of a punk rocker anyway. If that had gone somewhere, that would have been a nice little character beat, but it didn't. So it's just a potentially nice character beat, and that's it.
They have a great setup. She refers to it as her axe, which is reasonable, and then Jason axes her with it.
That's what they went for. That's the promise they saw in the scene.
I swear to God, the writers probably did that. They were like, right, she's done. Like, we can move on.
Who's next? And what are their names again?
Babelicious, Epic Hair, Shredder, the Ghost of Joanne Jett, Discount Jesse Eisenberg for Wayne.
Yeah.
I'm Rick James, bitch. Yeah.
I like that she also is like she's telling him that other girl that we'll see later
tomorrow
is using him, but she's doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, that's actually how long we're going to be doing this this stream. Tomorrow is when we will tell you guys, we will show you that who he's talking about.
Yeah, I mean, what she wants to do is she wants to go shoot in the power room because it has, I guess, Shred and Echo or some shit like that. But Wayne is going to go help tomorrow, which he kind of has. Well, he has a huge crush on because she's hot. That's basically it. That's his justification.
I'm just going to assume. So I don't play guitar. I'm not a musician. I know both Cynic and Platoon. I don't know about Mauler. But just based on my echo in this room and having to use a lot of this seems like a terrible place to try and record. Would I be right in that assumption?
The acoustics would be intense, so you'd get a lot of reverb.
Yeah, she wants it for the visual. She'll sort out the music in post. It'll be fine. Okay, it's the music video extravaganza. I just like the idea that she's so cringe. Jason was like, "All right, I wasn't even gonna kill you first, but you listen."
I was gonna let your career just die on the vine anyway, but let's just get this over with.
Is that Courtney Love? No, it is. Let me actually pull up her name. It's Saffron Henderson. That's her real name. All right, but. Saffron Henderson is about to die, so here it is.
Right.
That's a great teleport from Jason there as well. Very much above her. She goes down, then he's below. You're like, how'd you do that?
Oh, yeah.
You're a little cheater.
Also got a cameo from one of the most important characters in the film, which is the random... boatswain guy whose entire function is just to pop up at random intervals and say
you're gonna
die, and then he just disappears for the next 10 minutes.
I do like to be very funny.
Yeah, he's the second character in this franchise that's like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised it's only the second. You'd think there'd be one per movie. Just some old dude who goes, you're all gonna, Jason's gonna get you.
Well, it's because mostly they kind of know that it's Jason doing the killings once the movie starts off. Everyone is kind of familiar that it's Jason, except in this one where up until, I guess they see Jason himself is where they even assess that it's him. And they don't even do it collectively. They do it individually at first when he's taking them out.
Well, yeah, because you get she's kind of open to the idea that it might be him. The uncle guy is the one who just stubbornly refuses to accept that any sensible idea could possibly be the truth. So he's the one who refuses it all the way through. But the boatswain guy keeps popping up and saying, mystically, you're all going to die. He never bothers to tell them why until after most of them are dead. It's like the 50-minute mark in the movie when he pops up and says, oh, you're going to die because Jason is alive and on the boat and he's killing everyone. Why didn't you lead with that? You might have saved some lives.
Because then they'd have to pay for all the extras.
Why didn't he get himself to safety? Did he think he was immune to his own call for everyone?
Why was he staying on the boat if he knew everyone was going to die?
I've got to warn everybody again and again that they're dying and they're gonna die and that I'm gonna die. Everyone's gonna die.
He should have run off in a lifeboat, and while they're rowing to New York, he just pops out of the water and is like, "Help me, take me with you." It's like, yeah, if they finally arrive in New York and then Jason is the first one to kill him, that would have been good. I would have liked that. But he gets a lame death, man.
Yeah, he does.
Now, this is the first instance of weird-ass supernatural bullshit going on with our main character, because I don't even know how to explain this, man. This is kind of weird. So basically, she gets visions of a young Jason. She's being haunted by visions of a young Jason. Is this relevant? Not really. Ever. Except when she crashes the car.
maybe I wasn't paying enough attention to know how much sense it doesn't make, but I got the impression this is just she's got like PTSD from almost drowning, and she often sees him in these forms. She's like tormented.
He always looks different. Yeah.
Yeah, it is weird. Someone in the chat said he's not deformed. This is actually like canonically, yeah, like he was way more like retarded looking in the original version.
In another scene, he's more retarded.
I was gonna say they do have retarded looking ones in this one as well.
Yeah, but like he sort of degrades over time. I think it like water makes him saggy or something. I guess that's what happens.
But when
is there a reason
like, in the original wise,
when he had like deformations?
Yeah, when he drowned, canon wise, he's deformed and like kind of hairless and.
Yeah, he doesn't have hair on like he doesn't have hair on like. On like half of his head, like the other half is like
he's a Mongoloid.
I'll pull up a picture. I can't because I can't. Oh no, I can share my screen. I can share. Hold on.
Yeah, he really does look like like someone that you'd see in The Hills Have Eyes in the first movie. Now he just looks like a normal child. Probably made a wish. That was it. Wish to be a real.
Well, but this is at least not to defend the film, but this is her perception, which is why it's all fucky, right? She's having visions. She's scared because she's like, "Oh, I don't like the water because when I was a kid, a mean old man pushed me in there."
Yeah,
spoilers! You just spoiled the like one of the biggest plot twists in the movie. The whole reason for her.
I said a mean old man. It could be anybody.
Was in the lake, and that was it. And she couldn't swim. Is there a reason though that her PTSD actually does fixate on Jason? Did she see him down there at any point, or did it?
Yeah, she was in the lake. He pulled her down.
But was that real? Was it actually him, or did she imagine that shit, dude? No,
I assume she imagined it because he can't still be down there. Well, actually, he could be.
It couldn't have been real because when she was a kid, he would have already been an adult and gone on his killing spree and been resurrected 3 times.
His spirit grabbed her, or something. Maybe it was just another kid that Jason threw down there 5 minutes earlier.
Yeah, maybe it was another mentally retarded kid.
Well, if anyone did that, it was probably the uncle, because he makes a habit of taking children into the middle of lakes and throwing them in when they can't swim. So he probably just killed loads of people and dumped them there.
Think or swim, best way to teach. Yep, it works every time.
So she gets these weird visions of kid Jason, which become increasingly deformed. That's what I was gonna say. And we finally get into
nice
best dude ever, Julius, man, the best of the best. He's probably one of the only dudes that goes toe to toe with Jason. Actually,
he has the worst boxing form I've ever seen. Might I add?
Hey, he's undefeated. Dark Hour. He's undefeated. Okay,
he fights with
not in this movie.
He doesn't go toe to toe with Jason. Jason just tolerates him. He's like, "You're cringe, but I like you, I guess."
So here, I found this is it's on like Quora, but here's a picture of what Jason looked like in the first movie.
Yeah,
like, not even close.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wow.
That was pre-drowning, by the way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That is what I imagine.
After drowning.
Yeah, he did. It's what I imagine an unironic fan of this franchise to look like. Actually, is him.
So we finally
meet the picture.
We meet Julius, who is the undefeated boxing champion, and he's also the only senior that Tamara would want to have sex with, I guess. Tamara is the one on the right who is using Wayne, who is the dude that was with the camcorder. And of course, on the left, we have our Asian stereotype, who's there.
She's wearing yellow.
Scholarship. Yeah, wearing yellow as well.
Do not understate that line, by the way, where she says, "You know, he's the only one I would do it with." That's the lie. I was like, what the fuck? It's such great writing, man.
Yeah, and so the Asian woman's name is Eva Watanabe. Who would have guessed, man? Who would have guessed? And she's there for what is it? I guess a science thing or some shit like that. She gets like a science scholarship. So yeah, stereotypes are alive and well. And they're doing cocaine. Nice.
It is the 80s.
Yep, it is the 80s. So while they're doing cocaine, you have Rennie that's kind of looking around for her dog, and she stumbles upon them doing cocaine. So Tamara thinks that she's gonna rat, and eventually Charles pops up. So she thinks that Rennie ratted her out. Now, what Charles does is he assumes, like, I mean, this is probably the best line for me in the movie. Is like, were you girls doing drugs?
Yeah.
If they would say yes, yeah, sure, all right, cool. And so what he tells Tamara is basically that she has to present her assignment, her end of year assignment, in 15 minutes in her quarters, and he will be there to examine it. But if she fails to do so, he will make sure that she stays on the boat while they're in New York.
I was really perplexed by that entire thing. Like, is it common practice in America for you to go on like your end of year cruise and still have homework to hand in? Because like I assume so, when she goes and like she strips off, for like, spoilers, not that it means anything to anyone, but if she goes and like she strips off and tries to entice him, and then he gets filmed, and then that doesn't go anywhere either. But I assume that it was always a euphemism, and like they were already sleeping together, and like she knew that was their code for speaking like that. But she actually did have a biology task to hand in.
So in the United States, Platoon, technically, there are, I know at least in New Jersey, I don't know about the rest of the states, but in New Jersey, a lot of the school districts require that any trip that has school funds attached to it has to have some sort of educational aspect to it. They can make it as little, like they can really minimize it, but it is required. Like if you go to a trip to an amusement park, you need to like do some math problem for how the velocity of a roller coaster works and hand it in like after the thing.
Isn't this like their graduation cruise? Does that still apply if you're leaving? I thought that was what I probably just wasn't paying attention.
But... I mean, it's also for the sake of the plot to happen. I'm just saying to answer your question, that is actually something that I've had to do on field trips. It's a lot of times they super downplay it. It's very basic, like, hey, what is 2 + 2? Here you go. You go have fun. And,
as you mentioned, though, it doesn't really play into the plot that hard. This whole sequence, it just gets her to the shower and then dead.
Yep, it's kind of it.
Which, you know, you can get people to the shower for all kinds of reasons. You don't have to do that.
Just want to shower. That's much simpler.
Yeah.
But listen, hey man, we can't question Rob Hedon's writing. This is his magnum opus, dude. This is his masterpiece. I mean, come on, this is incredible. And of course, we get our next kill, which is the sauna scene. Now, originally, I think
did we even see this guy's face?
No, you don't. It's the dude that it's the dude that Julius was fighting. Yeah, in the beginning. That was basically it. But originally, this kill had to have him be stabbed in the eyeballs. But I guess the MPAA said that it was too much, especially because they were really cracking down hard on the Friday the 13th movies, which is why this one isn't too gory compared to the first one. Because they had a ton of problems with the MPAA. It's also a big reason as to why Paramount was fed up with the franchise, because they were also diminishing returns, constantly fighting with the rating system. So originally he was supposed to be stabbed in the eyeballs, but this is what we get instead. So let me play the clip.
Hey, listen, no hard feelings, man, okay?
That was it.
I always loved in this one how his organs catch on fire somehow.
Yeah, man.
If you look closely, like his internal organs just combust.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a lame kill. He had Jedi bricks, man. I agree. It's such a lame kill, man.
Boring kill.
Such a boring kill. Now, this is probably one of the stupidest parts of the movie because of the way that she just, and that's saying so much.
Wait, and this is so Tamara,
yep,
the girl that was caught doing drugs, thinks this girl ratted on her and she's going to show her. And I don't understand what her plan really is. Is it to kill her?
She does say I've heard she doesn't like water, and that's about all the explanation we get.
Right. So are you trying to kill her? Or, like you're knocking her into the fucking ocean?
I would also like to point out, and it's not the first time, and it won't be the last. It's the first time, but it won't be the last time in this movie that people have really no effect on. They take drugs and they're just normal, fine, don't have anything happen to them throughout the entire movie. It doesn't change who they are at all. So,
I mean, I thought that you were going to point out the fact that when they throw someone overboard, a ship is supposed to be moving, so. the ship will kind of leave you.
I wasn't even worried about that part. I
people
just assumed the boat just never moved.
Yeah, that's kind of it. The boat basically doesn't move. Everyone just thrown overboard.
I still don't understand in the beginning, how the hell did they dropped anchor, right? So like I'm still trying to figure that out. The boat somehow made it back to the dock and they never bothered to check it. They would know that the two people were it still has I to this day I'm still trying to figure out from the first time I saw that, how did this boat get there and why did nobody think to look on it?
Jason is a good navigator. That's probably it. There is. He's a captain. We just didn't know it. And of course, when she's in the water, they're increasingly deformed Jason's just popping up and dragging her down. Now she gets pulled out of the water, and Charles, of course, is angry because he didn't want her to get on this boat in the first place, and now she was dumped in the water, which he knows is one of her big fears. And so he just says "fuck off" to everyone and goes and puts her in her room. Right. Now, more weird supernatural Jason shit. He pops out of
looks like a Michael Jackson video, you know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. Well, I do think the wave effect was pretty cool. They probably had him they probably filmed this, sideways, so he was actually probably popping out of some water. But yeah, this is just stupid. I don't even understand it, dude. I really don't. Now, back to the good stuff. Well, good stuff. Tamara is trying to seduce him because she, of course, hasn't prepared her assignment. Her body is the assignment. Ooh. But, of course, he gets caught in 4K, and it is blackmail, ladies and gentlemen. Blackmail with the participation of Wayne. Wayne, who...
Wait, I would like to, just for the sake of censorship, it's African-American male. Get it right.
Wayne, of course, is here, and I don't know why Charles just doesn't grab the tape.
Yeah, because he takes the tape off and then he gives it to Watson. I don't know any of their names, so you know who I'm talking about. He gives it to her, and then she puts it in a dressing gown, and he just walks off. But are you not in charge? Are you not the adult in the room? Why just grab the tape? It's not that hard to do. No one would know. But he does have, I think it might even be before this, he has one good line in response to Camera Guy. But I think that they contrived the setup in order just to get that line across, because they have some sort of future telling thing happening somewhere on the ship. And it's Camera Guy isn't going. And he says, well, I can understand why you wouldn't want your future seen. It's fucking sick burn by the standards of this movie. I quite like that. But again, doesn't lead anywhere, just completely isolated. And I think they invented the future telling thing because they had that line in mind.
Yeah. It's just so weird that he just doesn't do anything. You kind of feel like he doesn't have any power, despite him being in a situation where he is an actual adult. He's responsible of all these students. They're on a boat. It's an actual dangerous trip where stuff can go wrong. It's just yeah, fuck it. No, they're blackmailing me. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, he's very cavalier about
so fast. When he pulls the tape out, he's like, aha, I've just been yeah, that's mine now. It's fucking destroy this shit.
He's very cavalier about it. He just leaves the room. He's like, I'm gonna make sure that everything neither of you go anywhere in life. It's no, they're gonna ruin your life, is what's gonna happen very quickly.
I mean, yeah. What would they say? They'd be like, oh yeah, he kicked us or he beat us up. I mean, you're trying to blackmail him. Fuck it, who gives a shit? But of course, Jason is out here being as silent as he can be, because this is one thing that always fascinated me about Jason. He is a huge hulking dude. He's probably slimy as fuck, leaving a weird snail trail everywhere.
No, because he can teleport through time and space. He doesn't leave a trail. He just steps through a puzzle. It's either that or he's going around murdering all of the extras we saw at the beginning but never come up again in the film. And that's all he's been doing, is just walking around the cabins murdering people off screen. But he is he doesn't really make much of an effort to stay hidden. He is just strolling around and turning up when he's needed.
He was going to kill all of them, but he got caught up in the drama. He was watching it. He was like, oh my God, blackmail. Oh no. What's going to happen?
And of course, the storms are brewing. As we said before, there was a storm coming in. The storm is hitting harder now. And it's finally time to see Tamara die. Now, this one does have a bit of censorship on it. because she dies kind of naked. So you'll see censorship for a split second. Let me play the clip.
Boring.
Yep, that's like every kill in this movie.
Yeah. Oh man,
that was made infinitely more interesting by the Sydney Sweeney heads.
How long did it take you to get the Sydney Sweeney heads to track the movement of her boobs?
Probably about 10 minutes. I'm used to doing it so much with the memes that I do in my videos. The tracking isn't really a problem now. But I did have to put multiple because there was the mirror. I didn't factor in the fact that she gets slammed into a mirror. So I didn't see the boobs reflection until the last minute. I was like, fuck.
I do like the idea. You're like, so much work just staring at these boobs, making sure no one can see them. Oh, well, gotta get it. It's honest work, but
I gotta take one for the team sometimes, man. Listen, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. You know what? It's such a pleasure that I'll play this ridiculous kill again.
I love how every time someone dies, they just happen to be blowing the horn. They're just like, it's about that time. Kill a clock. Let's get this going.
Yeah. This is a fun fact. The dude that plays the guy in the back, so I guess the second in command, is actually the guy that plays the dentist in Final Destination 2. So, yeah. That's pretty cool.
Sticking to a genre.
Some people are calling you out that it actually only took you a few seconds to do the tracking, and the rest of that time was spent doing something else. So.
Oh, well, of course, I can edit with one hand, so that's pretty cool. At this point, these two are on Jason's kill list, and he's finally getting up some different weapons, and he's just killing them.
Boring.
Yeah, in really, really lame ways.
Well, this one, he like that one is like weird because there's absolutely no noise to it. Which makes it look even stranger because you can't see where he's stabbing him. You just see him like going like but you don't hear anything. So it's
yeah. Then the dad gets killed, which you would think would be a bigger moment because hey, someone's father. But
when he finds him, he just says "Dad," and that's all you get.
Which really makes me imagine. Like, dude, it really makes me imagine what the original actor would have done. Oh man, he must have probably been horrendous. Jesus.
Yeah. His dying thought was, "My son is a failure."
Yeah.
I can steer this ship better in my death.
Yeah.
I thought this part was funny because I couldn't tell that they could tell that he was dead. So I thought maybe they saw him and they were like, "Dad, are you sleepy?" Like you can't be sleeping while doing the captaining. Come on.
Oh man. So they're both dead, and he makes an appearance.
Just pops into the sea. You're all gonna die, and then he fucks off again.
Anyway, bye.
Worst part is that he really just fucks off into the night. He grabs himself a knife the next time we see him, and comes and says, "Yeah, you're all gonna die again." Then boom, he's dead. Done. Now, Jason is actually lurking around again because Rennie goes to lower the anchor in a storm, which, Sean is fucking up big time at this point. Sean does actually call everyone to the bridge, which is why he's here too. And so what he tells them is that Jason is attacking. Jason came in. Charles, who is the uncle, doesn't believe them. And everyone just splits up. Like, this is Scooby-Doo for absolutely no reason. They constantly split up. It's so stupid. Oh God.
I think because when they leave, they all go to the bridge, don't they? And then the boxer guy says, "We need to regroup," and so they all leave, even though they were already in a group, and so they don't need to regroup at all. It's just an excuse to get them to split. But they frequently do that. You're right. Any given moment, just someone will find some stupid excuse for splitting up, so Jason's job is made a little bit easier.
Yep. And so, yeah, once again, the slime is over there, and this is Eva, who's checking up on Tamara, and what she's doing is she's finding her dead body, but she's also finding Jason. Shout out to Kane Hodder, by the way. I think this is the only time that they've brought back someone specific to play Jason, if I remember correctly. So yeah,
he's by far the most popular person who ever played.
He did it for 4 movies.
Yeah, like he the convention scene, he's always on it. There's a convention that takes place down in South Jersey called Monster Mania. He's there pretty often, and his line is always like wrapped around.
I like I'll say I like the physical acting. I think he does it well. I wish you know I wish you were able to be a part of movies that were better.
Yeah.
Was he in Freddy vs. Jason?
No, he gets screwed out of it.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah.
He wasn't.
Director one of the bigger Jason.
The dude that's in Freddy vs. Jason is actually in this movie.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
You'll probably guess which one he is. You know,
is he the guy in the diner later?
He is. Yeah,
he is.
Okay,
yeah.
Dude, Carlos. Yeah, I'm streaming on the movie. I have to be a bit knowledgeable about it at least. So yeah, this is Julius bringing out all the weapons. Now, my question to you guys is, which weapon would you personally choose?
The gun.
Yep.
What?
I'm American, damn it. We go straight for the gun. What do you?
Nah, I take
big
a
old fucking elephant rifle that he carries around with him for the rest of the ship section of this movie.
No,
I would choose. I think the small boat that they have on the side, and I would be just getting in it and leaving without telling anyone.
What are you stupid to steal? But dude, it'll stab you. That's how it works, okay? But
He'll just appear on the boat.
This scary movie gag where she looks at the table and there's a gun, a knife, a grenade, and a banana, and she grabs a banana.
The most effective weapon, dude. Potassium. There it is. I would take the axe personally, because I just think that you can decapitate someone with that. The shotgun, if you miss too much, you run out of bullets. That's my main issue with the gun.
If you miss with a shotgun, like, what are you doing? Standing and shooting away from that?
Hell, the blind guy accidentally kills somebody in about 5 minutes with the shotgun.
It's a shotgun. It's so you don't have to.
Even if you run out of ammo with a shotgun, you just turn it around and you have a club.
Yeah.
I still take the axe, dude. I still take
the shotgun.
And the shotgun is the most American of guns. I mean, it's like this: you just pull the trigger and you don't have to think. It's just great. You just
as long as you're in 180 degrees, you know, like you're probably going to hit him
over there anymore.
Yeah, exactly. The Bill Burr skit. There's no problem.
I used that in a video once, and somebody yelled at me for using it. They're like, he sucks now. I'm like, yeah, but he was good when he made this joke.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, her death is so forgettable that I forgot to play this, you know.
I wouldn't have described it as forgettable. It's just retarded. Like, I had no idea what they were trying to tell me with this. The editing
They said
is
this
bizarre.
took forever to film. They said it took days to film this trash scene. Yes.
How?
I'm guessing because of the lighting. The lighting probably was terrible, and they were probably getting horrible shadows.
It looks like they filmed it in an afternoon.
This, by the way, was the first scene, because the other ones that happened, that I thought Jason was realizing he could teleport. When he did that little look, I thought that was him being like, whoa, I just moved. But I shouldn't have. Like it's involuntary teleportation.
He really hucked the actress there, by the way. That apparently that was the real actress that he threw down, not a stunt double or anything.
No, man.
It's Kelly Hu. Let's not forget it's Kelly Hu, everybody.
Yeah, it is. It's Kelly Hu, man.
It's Kelly Hu.
Kelly Hu.
She's in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, she's in.
Okay, it's X-Ray Girl according to the chat.
Yeah, Kelly Hu was in. Is it Mortal Kombat? Yeah, it is Mortal Kombat, isn't it? Yeah.
I mean, I could pull up her IMDb. I know she's in a lot of stuff. I don't know like everything off the top of my head. Just give me a second.
She's still working today. I think so.
Pretty much looks exactly the same. So.
Oh, she does. It's crazy, dude. Yeah. It's crazy how she looks exactly the same. Now, speaking of Wayne and
though, just very quickly, why have a full disco setup thing? That you have 5 students. It will be really awkward if they all. Well, you say left, but like, where are the rest of them?
Oh yeah, she would Lady Deathstrike. How did I forget that?
I don't know. Well, because at the beginning they show some of them dancing that's pretty much the last time.
That's cool.
Yeah, she's Lady Deathstrike. She does a lot of voice acting, television, stage work. She's very active. She's a very active actress.
But I mean, honestly, the amount of effort that was put into this scene for the result is just. I think they all looked at each other. They were like, "All right."
They couldn't think of anything, I guess. How do you have this many people on set and nobody come up with anything? And fucking shove a head through a disco ball and then spin her around, you know? Even that.
Yeah, make it creative. That's one of the biggest issues that this has in comparison to all the others of the franchise is that the kills aren't really creative in this one, except for Julius.
Julius and I'm not creative, but the way they kill off the Dean Vernon, I don't know what his actual character name is, in like the random toxic waste drum is kind of interesting because why is that there?
That gets cheaped out in that we don't see him tip it over and go blah and crawl out. He's covered in, but maybe
that's why I said it wasn't like that. It's not that much. It's just a little bit more creative than the rest, but most of them are just like, I'm gonna throw you in a direction and hit a thing,
or just stab. I stabbed you on a thing, or stabbed you with the thing. There you go, stab.
This one, this probably the second most creative death is this one where do you have the clip for it?
Oh yeah, of course.
When he shoots the guy.
Well, when he shoots the guy, I don't have the clip. Well, he's right there, dead.
So like his glasses get knocked off because of the steam from the pipe that randomly goes off in his face, and then he shoots the first thing he sees, which happens to be one of his friends or one of the people that he was like hunting with.
No, that was the Chad guy.
Yeah.
But
you literally saw this dude in one scene, and
I don't know who he is.
3 seconds. That was it.
So he this is the second most creative death because of it has a weird set of circumstances that leads into it.
The boiler room stuff just makes me pine for Freddy. It's like he would have so much more fun in this setting than Jason does.
Oh, for sure. There is found footage Jason, everyone. I think that Freddy would have, at least, Nightmare on Elm Street has so many creative kills, every single one of them. That's something I can appreciate.
That's what it's built on, though. Nightmare on Elm Street is built on creative kills because it's all in a dreamscape. That if they don't have a creative kill, that's immediately going to be the most forgettable possible thing.
Elm Street still have, if there were, let's say, 50 kills in Elm Street, the bottom 10 are him stabbing them with his glove. Like it's not. There are some that are disappointing, but I think that's true. Yeah.
Well, it's not necessarily a lot. There is a decent number of them just getting stabbed with the glove, but it's usually the setup and the setting that are at least unique. It's very rare. I think the second one probably has the least creative kills out of all the Freddy movies.
What do you mean? The pool party's hilarious.
Dude, funnily enough, the second one is my favorite Nightmare on Elm Street movie because I just grew up watching that one so much. And then someone told me that it was like I was watching a Red Letter Media video, and they were like, "Yeah, it's an allegory for being gay or something." I was like, "Wait, what?"
Oh, it's the gay one. Yeah. It's a very gay movie.
No offense, I don't know how anyone misses that one being the hyper gay one. It's very gay.
Dude, I swear, I missed everything, and I was like, "Huh, okay, that explains it." I was like, "All right, cool."
Still, I would take 3 Freddy vs. Jason on the first over 2.
3 is definitely my favorite of those. The Dream Warriors, by far my favorite.
Welcome to prime time, bitch.
Yeah, we had that on Two Hoes Versus yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday, and no one could fucking quote it, dude. Except
I was
for
so
chat.
mad. I was so mad.
Same. But yeah, we finally meet JJ again, and JJ's dead. There he is. There she is, with the hole in her skull, which is pretty well made. I think it's cool. And now it is time for Wayne to die. Now, I do have the clip of Wayne's death, which I'm about to play.
I'm just sitting there thinking that the boat is probably deadlier than Jason in this movie. And how does that even happen? He just hits what I don't even know what it is. He just nudges it and it explodes.
It's like the fucking Simpsons memes where something happens and then it just explodes after it because they didn't know what to do. I don't know. He just fucking combusts. Fuck you.
Did anybody? I didn't catch this when I rewatched it earlier. They definitely are using like a Darth Vader noise when.
What for this?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, like play it again. Listen at the very beginning.
All right.
Definitely like a Darth Vader breathing.
So the breathing, heavy breathing going on there.
Yeah. R.I.P. Wayne. Wayne is dead. He got fried.
And that entire thing that sets fire to the entire boat. But for some reason, Jason is the one who turns on the fire alarm. Whereas if he hadn't done that, he could have just killed all of them.
Where's the fun in that?
He loves the chase, dude.
Well, he also just wants to make sure everyone's safe, man. Fire can really hurt.
Yeah, which is kind of dumb because you would think, well, doesn't this flood the ship basically? And Jason is suddenly not afraid of water anymore, even when he swims.
Oh, he does swim all the way to Manhattan at one point.
He's not very thinking now. Yes,
it is debatable whether or not Manhattan Harbor is actually Lower New York Harbor is actually water. It's debatable. So.
Oh, it could be like just slime.
It's just very especially in the 80s. It was a shithole of fucking just toxic waste.
Jesus, man, it was everything in there. But yeah, Jason stuff it's really, really inconsistent with water and his fear of water. But the hat is still in the hammock. There it is in the back.
He's missing as well because he can't speak. You can't get any in that previous scene. Like Freddy would say something like "Stop, drop, and roll, bitch," but like he can't do that because he can't speak.
And that's
why Freddy gets a huge edge on a lot of the slashes. The fact that he talks and he's a bit of a troll.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that what David Gordon Green said for Halloween Kills or something like that? He said one of the reasons why it's hard to write a Halloween movie for Michael Myers is because he doesn't talk. He doesn't have any flair. That's what he said for Halloween Ends. Sorry, that's why they concentrated on the secondary character in Halloween Ends and not really Michael Myers. That was like his justification.
His justification was it's too hard.
Yeah, literally, that's what he said, dude. He said it was too hard to write something for Michael Myers because he doesn't speak. He said he doesn't.
That explains why that movie was the worst one of the whole franchise.
It sounds like a writer who doesn't know how to write.
It's just fucking lazy, dude. Yeah, how Ends was garbage. Ends was
so bad. That was the worst of the entire franchise.
Yeah,
Adrian Ramirez is pointing out some other really good trolly ones. Chucky, Wishmaster. Wishmaster is probably the most. That's probably the most underrated.
Well, if we can talk about the most iconic slasher villain, the Fisherman. Everyone knows the Fisherman. From the classic. I'm actually curious if anyone here knows what I'm talking about outside of Little Platoon.
From I Know What You Did Last Summer?
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The man with a hook.
Yeah.
He doesn't say anything. Iconic.
Yeah, Jack Black is in the sequel. He gets killed on the tropical island.
Oh, he certainly is.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
Oh, man. So Charles, who's on screen right now, is going after the deckhand because he's like, yeah, that dude is probably the killer. We don't know if Jason is an actual dude right now. Jason is dead. So he decides to go ahead with a flare gun to kill him. Which, does the flare gun ever become relevant? Never. It doesn't, right?
No, it doesn't.
He tries to fire it later and it doesn't go off. So it's like, this is pointless.
No. He doesn't fire it. He stops himself from firing it. That's the thing.
I thought I could have swore he goes to fire it and it doesn't work.
No. He wants to fire the deckhand with it, but then he stops himself from doing so. Because I thought that he would have used it, maybe when they go on the lifeboat or something. But I just realized that it never becomes relevant ever again. We don't even know where the flare gun goes.
No, because that's one thing that they actually get right is that the storm would essentially make it useless to use this because it's foggy. It's like it would go up, it would go off, but like no one would be able to see it for any degree of distance. So they do make it.
I'm not convinced about, given how close we find out they are to Manhattan. It's like I think it would at least be worth a shot in every sense of that term. The hat is really like relaxed into that hammock at this point, though. It's having a good time.
So yeah, we get the next kill. This is Miles, who was Sean's friend, I guess. The dude that
Miles.
the axe. Yeah. So this is probably how I would die because I picked the axe. Well, let's see if I fare any better than the rest.
How the fuck did he get up there? He didn't climb.
You cheating bastard.
Yeah, I just picture like Jason off screen. Every time the camera isn't on him, he's running, like just absolutely sprinting so hard to the point where he's out of breath. That's why you just see him walking on camera.
He's one of those. Is it the weeping angels in Doctor Who when like if you take your eyes off them and they just suddenly teleport closer to you? He's one of those.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's that scary movie joke where the camera is off, the killer does a really awkward fast run. As soon as you look back, they stand still and they stare at you like, man.
Jason air dash.
But yeah, this was another example of me being like, okay, he must be able to tell. The filmmaker wants me to know he can teleport. They must be. Too many references at this point.
No, man.
And you should forgive the character for not knowing that his opponent can teleport. But even then, why would you climb up a pole? Like Jason isn't a dog. He can climb, and you've only got one way off, and that's to jump. So it's just run in the opposite direction. He only ever walks, as far as you know.
That's true. Yeah.
Fucking Julius, whatever, does that as well, where he runs up the ladder to the roof, right, instead of just away.
Yeah,
Jason's very slow. But then again, if you are aware of the teleporting, there is nothing you can do. There's no way you can go. You can't even go to space. He'll get you.
This just looks so off. It's an impaled dude. I don't know what an impaled person is.
What is that? Is it like an antenna for the radio? Is that what that is? Or is it just three random
harpoons. A bunch of harpoons. This is where we keep our harpoons for the birds, apparently, just in case they go down. It doesn't make any sense.
Oh yeah, he gets thrown off.
That's a great stop.
Yeah, so Julius basically just gets thrown off after finding Miles's body. Jason just says, "Yeah, fuck it, I'm not gonna kill you. I'm just gonna throw you into the water." That's it.
I think according says we will have our boss fight later. I think that's what
he's just really racist here. He's like, I've heard you can't swim. So
that's what I was thinking. It's like you throw the one black guy into the water. What are you trying to say here, movie? But then he comes back later, so he's not actually dead.
Well, and he's not.
Sorry, I stole it from you, Balloon.
He doesn't struggle to like swim as well. He just jump scares them all at one point. Like he was hiding in the water for ages to go. Blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, you got us, Julius.
So she gets locked into her room by Charles because of the her going to put down the anchor. So he just locks her into the room. I don't know how Charles thinks that's safe or in any way, shape, or form.
Have we got the clip where he headbutts his way through the window? That's quite funny.
No. I don't think I have the clip.
Oh, to be fair, this is also quite funny. I mean, yeah.
You see, chat, we don't even know what to say whenever we see these weird kid Jason apparitions, man. That's exactly how you feel when you're watching the movie and you see him pop up. You don't know what the fuck is going on. You don't know why.
Thankful you're getting Jason lore.
Yeah, Jason lore. That's how it fills, the Jason fans' big brains. That's how it becomes like it was in the first movie. There he is, choking her.
It's almost reminiscent of the final kill from the first Nightmare on Elm Street when he reaches through and drags the mother.
Grabs the mom. Yeah, grabs the rat.
Almost reminiscent of it, but it's not quite
a classic.
They don't quite get it right, the angle and stuff, and it doesn't work. Obviously,
Freddy really fucked up that inflatable doll. It was horrifying. And yet, better than the fucking CGI mess in the remake.
Oh, yeah. Yeeks. So this is the pen is mightier than the sword moment. She gets stabbed in the eye, and that's pretty much all it does.
Say it's the pen minus sword. I think she would have preferred having a sword in this moment, or a dagger, but you know what? It's fine. The pen works.
The pen worked, yeah.
Got the job done.
Oh, he's back.
And she would have probably preferred having that knife, actually, over the pen, too.
Yeah. It's another missed opportunity for Gore because she stabs him and he goes to pull it out, and I was kind of expecting them to do like your typical horror movie Gore thing, like he pulls his eyeball out, or it's like slow and it's obviously excruciating, but he just sort of yanks it out and a bit of water dribbles out of his eye hole, and that's kind of it. It's not the most imaginative thing in the world.
Yep. And then Stephen after King. That, he's back, ladies and gentlemen. He's back to warn us that Jason is after us.
This is my warning knife.
Yeah, he kind of just runs around in the kitchen with a knife and runs into Charles, bumps into him, and literally just runs away. I was like, what the fuck? I don't know what he's doing. He's probably on meth.
They actually also ruined this because it would have been a great take if they didn't hover and highlight. So they do the pan, you see the knife, and then they pan back and they stop and they play that little jingle music. Here it is. Oh, look what's missing. If they would have just done a pan and a pan back without highlighting it, it would have been a much better shot.
Yeah, I think that there's a ton of missed opportunities in the Friday the 13th franchise in general to play on if the killer is there, if Jason is there or not, using POV. I don't think that they use it enough, because when they use it, they only stick to it for 5-6 seconds. Then they reveal that it's not Jason, and you're like, okay, cool, that's it, I guess. Oh yeah, so the ship's flooding. That's our reason to go to New York now on a lifeboat. It's proper flooding, and apparently all the rest of the I guess cast is dead. Like every single
I
other
thought
high
I
school
missed
student.
something here, right? Because like the teacher woman, she drags a load of them into the restaurant. Is that right? And then she tells them to stay there, and then we don't see them again. And then after this happens, he just walks off and says, "There is no restaurant anymore." So, what? They're all just dead? Did you do nothing to help? Can they not swim? What happened to them? No one survived that.
How tragic!
Don't even know who they are. Fuck it. Rip whoever you are.
The Friday the 13th, the TV show. No, I've never seen it. Have you guys?
I know it existed.
I didn't know it existed. I knew,
or was it? Or no, maybe I knew about the Freddy's Nightmares one. Maybe that was the one I'm thinking of.
Wait, yeah. When was this?
This was before this movie came out. The TV show was before this movie came out, because I know that Rob Hedden, he wrote for the Friday the 13th TV show. That's why they actually told him to direct this one.
Oh wow, they actually had 3 full seasons. They had a total of 72 episodes.
What the hell
over
is
the
that
course
show?
of 88, 89, and 90?
Yeah,
is it just Jason killing people?
I guess
I don't know.
I knew it. I knew that these shows existed because I know there's a Freddy's one, like a Freddy's Nightmares one too, but I never actually watched them.
Yeah, someone says the Friday the 13th TV show has nothing to do with Jason. It's Needful Things by Stephen King.
That is true.
Oh, you've seen it? You've seen it?
Yeah. The only connection to the movie series it has is it shares an actor. The part 9, the movie Jason Goes to Hell, has the same lead actor as the TV series has, but they're not the same character. That's it.
No, that kind of sucks. Why even call it Friday the 13th?
To sell it.
Could you imagine 72 episodes of just like Jason walking around killing people and I'm never able to figure out what's going on?
They just keep respawning all the people on Camp Crystal Lake. And he's like, what the fuck is happening? This is insane. Or unless that's his idea of heaven, which Freddy vs. Jason kind of tries to explore, right? Like in his deeper recesses of his mind, he's just constantly dragging people.
Dead bodies around.
That's one of my favorite kills in the series too. When it's not even a kill, when they have him do the he puts the chick inside the sleeping bag and beats the other chick with her. Just starts smacking her.
Yeah.
So this is the point in the movie where Charles wants to kill the deckhand, but the deckhand gets killed, Uno reverse, by Jason. See, ladies and gentlemen in the chat, an axe would work. Okay, an axe and kill. It's just that if your opponent,
I'm just going to point this out, that if you took a gun to the back too and shot him, also would have had the same result. Actually, would have done it probably more efficiently from a distance.
Hey, Jason gets shot in this movie several times. Okay. There you go. But what managed to hurt him? A pen. Boom.
That's not an axe. You're null and voiding your axe argument right there.
It's a type of blade, I guess. You know, if I'm stretching it.
Bullets are a type of blade. They're small and they fly real fast.
Sword-like weapon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and there's Julius jump scaring them out of the water because he manages to, I guess, stay. You see, this is my problem where they don't have an anchor dropped. There's a huge storm, and Julius has probably survived 10 minutes next to the boat underwater. All right,
he's in really good shape. He's an amateur undefeated boxer who's going to go pro. He just kept up with the boat in a hurricane. That's what happened.
Yeah, he has the stamina. It's setting up the fact that he has stamina to take on Jason. There it is. And so they managed to get on the lifeboat.
This is a guy who will not get tired at all, no matter what the situation. That's for sure.
So they're rowing for quite a while, actually. I don't know how long, but you go through fog, you go through darkness, and they finally reach New York City, man.
I hate this scene because I hate this scene, and I'll explain why in approximately 3 seconds. Okay. So I hate this because New Jersey technically has the property line of the New York-New Jersey border is the Statue of Liberty is part of New Jersey, and they always show it and go, "Oh, look, New York." It's not. It's not part of New York. Even I don't care if it's on your license plate. It's part of New Jersey. You guys got Ellis Island and Staten Island. We got Liberty Island. Go fuck yourselves.
Damn.
Sorry. All right.
A lot of deep-seated issues.
Territorial.
But that's okay.
Well, you know what, Dark Hour?
There's a lot of territorial stuff that goes on around here, okay?
Dark Hour, the Statue of Liberty is actually French, so you're welcome.
It was a gift from my friend, uninspired reviewer.
Thank you.
My state of New Jersey.
Thank you. There you go. You're welcome. You're welcome, America. The French gave it to you. There you go.
They actually, there's one in France too, and it's not anywhere. I think it's smaller and is not anywhere near anything important. They just put it out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, they were just like, "Fuck it, we have a mini one. Go ahead." It's kind of like the Despicable Me meme, you know, where it's like, "We're gonna steal the Eiffel Tower, the small one from Las Vegas." Like, all right, that's what we have for the Statue of Liberty.
Lesser known fact as well, you know, the British gave Americans America. We let you have it. We were like, "Ew, this place is gross. You guys can have it."
The copium is strong. Oh. Typical Jersey repressed anger.
Oh man, you have no idea. Have you not watched any of my videos? Where do you think all that comes from? I just let it explode in a moment. I'm just like, I'm gonna yell at whatever I'm watching right now.
Yeah, I don't want it. If it's French, give it back. Listen, I gladly take it back, man. And so this is basically our final crew now. With
hold on. Sir Raph has the best one I've ever read. New Jersey is just New York City's DLC. That's the best one I've ever read.
Yeah, some DLCs are pretty good, just saying.
Yeah, sometimes the DLC is better than the original game. I'm just saying.
So this is basically our last remaining people, including Toby the dog, of course, which I didn't even know that the dog was called Toby until I looked up like the character list for this. I was like, oh, cool. They gave him a name. That's nice. Cute doggo. And meet the competition. There he is, the Eastern Hockey League. Dark Hour, I'm just curious. Have you ever played hockey? Is it like
no? I'm not Canadian. No.
But so it's not a big thing, like in.
No, it actually is a big thing. I don't know how to ice skate, and roller hockey is kind of pointless because there's no league for that. You know, like you can't go anywhere with that really. So, but I never really played hockey. No.
Right.
I played sports. I played growing up: soccer, or you call it football, basketball,
American
football.
And wait, American football or like soccer?
No, soccer. I wasn't good at that. I was decent at baseball. I was terrible at basketball, and I'm pretty good at choking and breaking people's limbs. So that's what we got. Those are my 4 sports that I participate. Oh, and I boxed for a while too. So,
dude, I feel so French, man, because I played handball. I don't know if you guys even know what the fuck that is.
No,
I know what handball is. I've seen it played. They have at a lot of gyms in the United States. There's like handball courts that are usually empty, but like sometimes you'll see somebody in there. Racquetball can be played in those too.
I think we just called it rugby.
Hand egg.
Hand egg.
I was going to say, so huge missed opportunity here to not have the lightning strike this billboard and have it come alive and fight Jason. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I mean. You know, it's just, you could have done some stop motion. It would have been great. Cheese, but, you know, it's fine. Fine. Do whatever you want, I guess.
In an even happier alternate world, though,
in
a way that could actually cut about 40 minutes off the film's runtime is that rather than doing all of this completely pointless New York-based nonsense, you could just have Jason kill everyone on the boat. They all die. The boat's on fire. And then he goes and he stands on the deck and he looks out ahead of him and the mist clears and then you see the Statue of Liberty and then you have like a Palpatine laugh and it fades to black and it's like, oh shit, Jason is going to Manhattan. He's going to kill all the teenagers in New York City. There's lots of those. That's at least another 15 movies, but we don't have to do it now. We can just end and leave and do something else.
The movie then would have had to be called, instead of Jason Takes Manhattan, Jason Arrives in Manhattan. That's what it would have to be.
Jason clears customs.
I do like the way that he looks at the billboard. I love the way he looks at the billboard, though. It's just like once he sees it, you can clearly see that he just takes in a deep breath, like, and then he just looks sideways, like, what the fuck?
Oh, I just realized. What's the law with him using the machete? Then does he like sometimes use it in these films?
He sometimes does. There's no rhyme or reason.
Yeah,
it's just a very efficient way of chopping people up. That's really
because I feel like that was missing from this film. You know, it just he really just was trying to live a different way. Because like it would be funny to know, of all the films, is it like one on, one off sort of thing where he gets the machete, or is there a film that made it the weapon for him?
No, I think they just kind of use they kind of use like the machete as a weapon in the first one, and it just stuck. Well, the first time you see him properly.
The second time he used an axe more, if I recall correctly. It was like a
yeah,
hatchet.
but he gets hit in the shoulder with the machete in part 2, and that ends the movie. And then part 3, he uses a machete.
Yeah,
and 4.
And that's also he starts using it in the third one, and then that's when he gets his mask. So that's they're kind of just connected because he gets them both in the same.
Yeah, so Mrs. Voorhees was decapitated with a machete, so it has a bit of nostalgia for him. Yeah, sure, why not keep the weapon?
Right,
decapitated your mom, I guess.
Right, he was like, yes, this is I want to keep this because my mom's head, parts of it are attached to it.
Yeah, all right. But yeah, arriving in New York, foreshadowing. The first thing that we saw in the beginning clip, the beginning montage was we saw the Statue of Liberty. We saw a dude walking in an alleyway, and then he got mugged. So it's basically what's happening right now.
This is pretty accurate for like 1988 Manhattan. This is pretty much what would have happened to this group immediately.
But this sequence is so utterly pointless because so they get mugged. He hands over his wallet. One of them kidnaps. I don't even know what she's technically the protagonist, I guess. I don't know what she's called. That one kidnaps her, and then in response to that, Uncle Guy is just like, "Hey, let's split up and go look for clues." It's like that's you've just been mugged.
It is bizarre. It really felt like they'd arrived and they're like, so what's the film now? They go, they get mugged. Okay, yeah, we could do that, I think. Why not?
Could they found a less intimidating mugger?
He looks like a Fabio that you see on one of those book covers, dude. I do like the fact that Julius is the only dude that's like, yeah, man, let's go after these dudes. Let's go fuck them up. Charles is like, no, man, they're gonna kill her. Man, I would probably fight. No, for sure.
They shoot her up with, for someone who's as clean cut as her, they shoot her up with a decent amount of heroin, and then she just doesn't even get affected at all. She's fine for the rest of the movie.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that's true.
Or she gets heavily affected and hallucinates the rest of the film.
That's a that would explain the end.
It would explain the end.
There he is. There's Jason coming out with all of his slime, ready to kill the grapists. So yeah,
Jason the feminist.
Jason the man of the people, I guess.
Someone needs to do you get your damn hands off of her, like recut. Back to the Future
with Jason, yeah. Well, let's see how these two guys die. So, because I just find it hilarious.
Forgot my money, Holmes. Who the fuck are you? Shit.
Boo.
The hell is that needle made out of? Is that like vibranium or something? How does that not? You can't stab people and wiggle it around; it'll just snap.
No, yeah, it's mainly his fist doing the work. The needle was pointless in that. But also just the I love the closing the distance that everyone always does in these fucking movies. Like, my gun's clearly not working. I won't back up. I will keep moving toward you. Why do they always do that?
My favorite part of this scene is her in the background struggling to get out from underneath the guy, but he's barely on her. It's like his one leg is on her, and she has to keep selling. She can't move him.
Yeah.
If you watch, it's
utter nonsense, dude. Man, it still baffles me how lame some of the kills are. It's crazy, dude. If Julius wasn't in this movie would have been so lame. Well, lamer. Speaking of Julius, man, he's contacting the cops, and Jason fucking teleports again.
Cheating motherfucker.
Yeah, dude, just because. And we finally get the
my favorite scene in like the entire series.
Oh yeah. Now, originally this was actually supposed to take place in Madison Square Garden, but the producer said, "No, fuck that. We don't have the budget." So yeah.
that would have easily quadrupled their budget just to get the rights to use Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, so they were supposed to have a proper big fight with him and Jason in Madison Square Garden. I would have liked to seen it. Like,
so there's a random building that is completely nondescript.
And plus, I don't even get it. You can clearly see people around. Why doesn't he just shout out like, "Hey, there's a killer here," or jump down?
You'll see why in a little while when no one gives a shit.
Why did he go up the fucking ladder in the first place? Well, what are you doing? Why do you think that's going to help you? If you're in a city, just go any direction and you'll be safer.
And when they're in New York in Last Action Hero and he kills the guy and yells, "I've just shot somebody and I want to confess," and they just tell him to shut the fuck up, that's exactly what would happen here if he just started yelling.
Yeah. Well, you know what, ladies and gentlemen, this is probably the best kill of the film. So let us savor it. Let me play the clip. So the clip is actually really long, so I trimmed it down as much as I could while still keeping, Julius's fighting spirit intact. So let me play this.
These are combos keep the feet light. This is it.
The dramatic snapping shut of the doors is the best.
Oh, dude. Oh, man. Poor Julius. Dude. I would have let him live if I was Jason. I would have just been like, "Hey, man, you did good. You did good."
It's the impression I got throughout this whole sequence was the first hit. Jason was like, "What? Really? Wow. Look at you." And then just let him keep hitting him. Just like, I'm fascinated by this whole sequence. Go ahead.
They do show that his knuckles start to bleed, which is a nice little touch because he is punching into a hockey mask, which is designed to stop a puck from hitting you in the face. So
it's more than that. He's punching into Jason, who is sometimes made of titanium or some unclear.
And sometimes made of goo.
True.
Yeah. That's true.
And now, normally I'd be like, "Oh shit, he got tired real fast for an amateur boxing champ." But remember, he didn't sleep like at all, and he rode all night, so he's already
he was like waiting in the water for 15 minutes.
Yeah, that too. So. Yeah, there's that too. So I give him a pass. He was already. This was essentially the equivalency of the final round for him.
Yeah, and plus, like, And plus, like in real life, so Kane Hodder told him, "Hit me as hard as you can," and so just lay it on me. So he was actually throwing real punches at Kane Hodder, and Kane Hodder was tanking those motherfuckers. So shout out to both of them for actually giving it their all in this scene, making it really memorable. Probably one of the most memorable scenes of the entire film.
It's real easy to be like, "Hey, punch me as hard as you can in the face" when you're wearing a hockey mask. It's not really that impressive.
I mean, even the body shots, dude. Like, well, keep in mind they do have to retake these scenes several times. So if you tell them go all out on me, like, yeah.
I also assume they would have had some kind of safety thing. Like, was he wearing? I don't know.
Probably had
padding.
I think he probably wears padding for like whenever he plays Jason, because Jason is kind of stocky. Like he's a really chunky boy. But yeah, I don't think that you could just do that by just putting a normal shirt on him. So I think
he's probably wearing a midsection pad, which is, you've seen him when boxers are practicing. If someone will put it on, it's essentially a really super thick belt that goes around your stomach.
But yeah, F's in the chat for Julius, ladies and gentlemen. He died like a hero. We will see him again very, very soon. Actually, he does get a little appearance now. So Dark Hour, in terms of the drugs affecting her, this is the most that we get, where you just see like her hazy vision, pretty much.
Yeah,
and that was it.
And that's it. But first of all, she probably would have passed out from that amount, being that her body would have no idea how to react to that.
Yeah, that's true. Well, she probably would have just OD'd, man. With that amount, I'd say OD direct, man. Yeah. But yeah, so Sean finds her. And then Charles finds Colleen, and he also finds a cop, an Irish policeman. If you look up IMDb, for some reason, they say specifically that he's Irish.
There's a huge difference between an Irish cop and a regular cop.
Well, yeah, he's Irish. That's the difference. And he's nice. He's cool, man. He's accommodating. He believes him, and we finally get back. Yeah. Well, we finally see the head of. I mean, it's a good prop, man. I like it. It's nice. It's grimy.
That's slimy. Not a prop. He actually got his head punched off. That's the real head.
But just to figure out the mechanics, does that mean that so Jason teleported off the roof? He went. He got the head out of the dumpster, and he thought, I know already before they do exactly which cop car they're going to get it, and so I'm going to stick it on the dashboard, so it's going to really fuck with them. But I'm going to do it in such a way that the policeman who's been sitting in it while I'm doing it doesn't notice that I'm doing it. Is that vaguely what happens here?
Sure.
Basically sums it up, yeah.
Yeah, this scene makes no sense whatsoever.
And even back then, didn't police cars have a separation between the back and the front, you know?
Yes. And also one detail that they do keep correct is that they can't open the doors from the back doors from the inside, which is automatic on all basically child locks, essentially, for cop cars. But there should be at minimum like a wire mesh separation, but usually it's back then at least, it used to be like a metal, almost like locker material.
Yeah, kind of like a grate, you know, something like a light metal grate.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. So yeah, again, R.I.P. Julius, you were one of the best. And Jason is here now. Jason again once teleporting. So Rennie, who is our main character, takes the wheel, and we have one of the. I don't even know how to explain this, man. This is some of the weirdest editing I've ever fucking seen, to the point where I had to clip it for this because I need the chat to experience this with us. So let me just play. Now, this is basically 6 seconds of uncut footage from the movie. This is how it looks when you're watching the film, all right?
Yep, the person I was watching the movie with asked if everything was okay on my end. I was like, yeah, that's the movie.
Yeah, it's so weird, man, and it's kind of just justification for her to crash and for another character to be killed. So Colleen, who was the teacher, is just burns in the police car.
They all get out, don't they? So she hits the wall. She sees the apparition of a small child and thinks, "Fuck it, I'll hit the accelerator," because that's what you do in that situation. Rams it into the wall. Then Uncle is like, "No, everyone get out of the car." But then, like, oh no, we forgot completely about Susan, who's just sat in the backseat, and like no one thinks to check on her or to make sure she's coming with them. And then she just explodes, and that's it. What a terrific character. She's been in maybe 3 scenes.
She's my favorite.
Yeah. It's so dumb, man. And yeah, you guys in the chat, yeah, what the fuck is this? I don't know, man. It's such a weird edit. You know what? I'll just play it again. Fucking nonsense.
The look on the teacher's face sums up everybody in the audience after that scene. Just like, what happened?
Someone was happy for their name to go into the credits of this movie with the title of editor, and I kind of am interested in what their career turned out to be after this.
I'm on it. Don't worry. Let's find out.
Yeah, so this is our final trio. And if you thought that what happened before was weird, well, weirder stuff happens because we look at a flashback. Now, I do have to credit the film at this point because I think that this is a pretty cool transition. I think it's nice. So yeah, so basically what happens is she sees the fuel burning. It transitions into a flashback of what happened between her when she was a kid and Charles, who's her uncle. And the reason why she basically has a huge fear of water, it's because he's like, hey, we're at Camp Crystal Lake. It is Camp Crystal Lake, right?
Yeah.
Where they are. Yeah. So they're at Camp Crystal Lake, and she's like, hey, I don't know how to swim. Hey, you should swim. Fuck it. Throw her in the water. And then, fuck it, Jason just grabs her.
Very deformed.
Yeah, really deformed this time. Yeah. He still has some hair, though. But, yeah, as we said before, I don't even know if this is real or not. I don't think any of us do.
Yeah, so that's the thing, because it's okay to say, like, on the technical level, the transition is okay, but like my abiding question is just why, and also what the fuck. Because we've reached this part of the movie. I don't think this movie required as this big dramatic plot twist that Uncle is maybe a bit of a dick because he once threw her in a lake, and it's not even really motivating. It's just kind of there. And that's it.
Yeah, it's just...
Well, it feels like the film is saying that once we laid this, we're okay with Uncle dying. And I'm like, no?
Yeah.
I mean...
Right, yeah.
Because they just shove him on trash, and they're like, oh, yeah, cool. We hate you now.
There was 2 editors on, to answer Platoon's question from before, there's 2 editors, one of which went on to have a fairly lengthy career, which included movies like Con Air and... Darkness Falls, and I'm just going through for like ones that I think people might recognize.
I'll forgive him for Con Air.
Yeah, Escape Room more recently, stuff like that. And then there was another guy who has 3 things on his resume, and the last one was this movie. So I'm guessing that he's the one who did that edit transition. I'm just gonna go out on the limb.
He was like, "Fuck it."
They saw that and were like, "You're never working in Hollywood again. Get out of here."
You asked the Con Air guy. He's like, "Was the other guy the one who did it?" He's like, "Yeah." Yeah, it was him.
That was
definitely him. Yes.
Have you not seen? I did Con Air. Like, definitely wasn't me.
Yeah. So as Mahler was saying, like, this is basically useless justification to say, "Fuck it, we're okay with Uncle dying." Okay. I don't even know, man. Also, another aspect of teleportation. Jason wakes up. So I think this is the first time that the uncle actually believes that it is Jason attacking them, which, holy shit, man, we're this far into the movie.
Yeah. He just realizes it as he's basically about to die.
Wait a minute.
It's like, yeah, this can't be possible. So Jason throws him, but before that, I do have the teleportation stuff that happens. Do I have a clip of it with audio? Let me play this. Oh yeah, so it's without audio, but yeah, there is
greatest teleportation ever.
Yeah, so Jason is chasing him, so he's running away from Jason, but Jason throws him out the window. Yeah, and he dies being drowned in toxic waste. That is how he goes out.
This is very similar to what Manhattan is like. There's just drums of toxic waste hanging around everywhere.
It's everywhere. So you just can't escape it. And of course,
it was honestly, Manhattan was especially like dirty and disgusting in the 80s. It got cleaned up a lot in the 90s during the Rudy Giuliani era.
Because it was heading directly into... This was 1980... When did this film come out? Was it 88?
It was 89, but they would have made 89. It probably in 88.
I think didn't New York run into a recession late '88, and so that you had a spate of movies which were all about social decay, social collapse. Anything set in New York was always emphasizing crimes, gangs, dirtiness, and all the rest of that. And then mid '90s, they all seemed really dated because it recovered very quickly.
Yeah, Rudy Giuliani really cleaned up New York. Took a lot of, kicked a lot, specifically Manhattan. I mean, there's still like the Bronx still had some work to do, but Manhattan specifically got cleaned up a lot.
So are you telling me the toxic waste actually washed down every day at midnight?
I mean, you'd have to talk to somebody who works in the sanitation and like public works department of New York. I don't know exactly if there's a toxic waste situation like that happens in the sewers, but I wouldn't shock me.
So after abandoning after Uncle's death, Jason chases them into the subway, and I love how he doesn't open the door; he just steps through it. It's kind of like what I don't know if you guys are familiar with Ridiculousness. You know the gag that Rob Dyrdek did, where he's like, "Yeah, you just have to put your knee and hit your forehead at the same time." Oh, dude, it's utter nonsense. But yeah, Jason chases them into the subway, and we're finally breathing life into Manhattan. This is actual. We're seeing extras, people. This is where the $5 million budget went to extras.
Who is
I wouldn't be shocked if I'm not okay. Oh, go ahead, Platoon. Go.
I'm just wondering who Quayton is and why he lives.
It's Quayton.
He's that's the actual name of the killer. That's what Jason's name actually. It's Jason Quayton Voorhees.
So I would not be shocked, by the way, if these scenes, these people were just regular people who weren't told what was about to happen, and this is their genuine reactions to watching someone get stalked down a subway car. I would not be shocked by this.
I mean, you think the woman that got shoved out of the way was just a random person? They're just like, yeah, fuck it. Speaking of the woman getting shoved out of the way, I do have the clip of that, so let me play it.
I'd forgotten about the random third rail death. Not death, but you know.
Yeah.
You cut out the best line when he hits the emergency exit, by the way. The emergency brake.
Mm-hmm.
He one of the guys wakes up and goes, "Hey, is this my stop?" Completely no-sells everything that's going on.
Yeah, like, help us. Oh, all right, I don't really care. And boom. I love the way that the Sean just launches himself at Jason. He's like, fuck it, we're gonna go all out now. And he randomly ends up on the electric line. So weirdly enough, for me, this is a new thing ever since I moved to France in 2020. Because in Ghana, we still have old railway system, so you can just walk on the railway tracks normally. And so now with all these weird ass electric lines, this is something that's like genuinely new to me. It still fascinates me. It sounds stupid, but I don't know, man. It just fascinates me. So yeah, so seeing them use it as a weird Jason, I guess, cutaway kill was interesting. But yeah, Jason is not dead. Jason still lives. Well, Quayton lives, I guess. That's what we can say. And he's finally in Manhattan. He's finally around. I guess this is the only proper shot that they have that they filmed in New York, right?
Yep.
Wasn't loads of it done in Toronto besides New York? So like most of it is Toronto, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like they use Toronto is often used as a stand-in for New York in movies because it has similar population density and stuff that they can use.
Were you trying to find an unoffensive way of not slacking off?
No, I was trying to say, because it's not really set up this exact same way in terms of the cityscape, but it has a similar look and enough people where you could theoretically make it look like it's as packed as it is. I don't even think I give a shit about being offensive to New York.
Yeah, and we get some New Yorkers, man. We get some New Yorkers. Let me play the clip of these young distinguished gentlemen.
You a dead meat slime bag. Yo, man, it's cool. It's cool, man. It's cool.
it's so cartoonish. I just like it, man.
I think this was the bit that I thought when watching it, like they've just basically given up at this point. Or let's just do a running series of gags just to pad the runtime a little bit, and then we'll get out of here at the end.
Pretty much.
Basically, yeah. That's how it ended. Because at this point, the movie goes really, really quickly. I mean, once they arrive in New York, which is the main selling point of the movie, everything moves so fast. Everyone dies so quickly and so stupidly as well. And Jason's teleportation is up to like 5,000. It's crazy. And so, yeah, so they finally reach the diner. And we meet our future Jason Voorhees over here. Now, I do have the clip of Jason walking in like the fucking Kool-Aid man. So let me play that.
You don't understand. There is a maniac trying to kill us. Welcome to New York.
Oh man!
And that guy there is who played Jason in Freddy vs. Jason,
Mm-hmm.
the cook there.
Yep, the huge hulking dude. I mean, I would have liked Kane Hodder, but I agree that if you want to do Freddy versus Jason, you really have to make Jason a hulking figure that's really, really tall. And Kane Hodder, like, sadly, in comparison to that guy, is shorter. I do like
I don't know
the
how tall Kane Hodder is. He's not crazy tall though. So it's like,
well, he is tall. I think he's about
yeah,
6.
he's not like he's not 6'8" or anything like that though. He's
No.
like
Yeah, he's my height, 1.89 m.
Yeah, 6'2". Yeah, there you go. Yeah. For people who use real measurements.
Yeah, this is one of the shots that I like in the movie where you see him slowly walking with a broken glass, and you just hear his footsteps. I do think that it's nice to have a little touch like this in this type of film. And yeah, so they run into the sewers for some fucking reason. Why?
I jotted down, without knowing where this was going, I did jot down Jason drowning in shit would be thematically on point. And it's kind of what we got.
Yep. This is a reference to, I guess in my head, this is a reference to Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the original one, at least the 1956 one. Dark Hour, I don't know if you remember the slide that I had on Two Hosts Versus yesterday about the poster. Yeah, so this is kind of a homage to that. Invasion of the Body Snatchers from 1956, a far superior film. Go watch that instead.
It just doesn't have the iconic Donald Sutherland point and scream.
Yeah. And so they meet a worker down there, a maintenance worker that's basically clearing out. And he tells them that at midnight every night, there's toxic waste that floods the sewer, and that's going to happen in 10 minutes. So at least the film tries to give us a ticking clock. Yeah,
you'd think that they would lock the ways to get in so people wouldn't try to get into the sewers for toxic waste hour.
Yeah, it's true.
And why would you put electric lighting in a place that floods every day?
It's fucking hilarious what they said. I was just like, whatever. Careful! At midnight, that's when the toxic waste flooding happens. I was like, what?
Yeah. And it just pops out of nowhere too, and you just know that that's how they're gonna beat Jason, despite the dude that and man, we'll get to it in like 5 minutes. So Jason kills the worker, R.I.P. worker.
Trying to do his job. He was being a good guy.
He was probably just saving people.
He was probably covering someone else's shift because he sure as fuck didn't want to be there at this time of night.
What is even his job? He goes every day just to make sure no tourists are there before the toxic waste arrives. So he's just on his cleanup mission.
Basically, yeah, that's pretty much his job.
He's the toxic waste security guard.
So yeah, he gets bludgeoned to death, and just as Jason is about to kill Sean, what does Rennie do? I guess she screams at him.
No, she shines a torch in his face, and then he goes after her. But then, and this was, I'm surprised at myself, actually, the first time in the movie that I started thinking about it at all. But why does he have a particular vendetta against her? Such that, she shines a light in his face, and I read that as well. He looks at her, and then, because you've sort of got the established implied connection because of her weird dream stuff, that maybe there's something going on there, so he abandons the guy he could otherwise have killed and goes after her instead. But I don't actually know what that connection is. Why does he want to kill her so much?
She's the one that got away.
But did she? I mean, wasn't that just a dream?
Maybe.
They imply that actually happened though for some reason. It's weird. There's no internal consistency of time.
It's after her feet.
Or anything.
So yeah, I guess instead of just taking care of the job and bludgeoning Sean right there and then chasing him, and then chasing her, which would have taken like what 2 seconds, she just goes and follows her, and she finds
more toxic waste.
Yes, toxic waste, which she throws on Jason, and this is the face that we get.
My God.
This is the reveal that we get, ladies and gentlemen.
Now we know why those guys ran away earlier. They were like, "That's so embarrassing. I don't want to be anywhere near this."
Oh man, it's such a shame that this
the
is
scream matches how awful and cringe that looks.
Oh, it's so bad, dude. It's so bad. And considering that, you had the first movie that was worked on by Tom Savini of all freaking people, it's such a downgrade, man. Oh, Jesus, man. But yeah, as Jason is chasing them in the back like the dude from RoboCop. Finally,
yeah.
Which is what I thought of in that sequence that I had.
Yeah.
He definitely is.
The flood finally kicks in. And so we are going to witness Jason die for how many times is this? 7, I guess.
7 times. Well,
if
he
you
died in
count
the
the
first
original
movie.
time.
He drowned in the first movie.
Yeah, technically he did, yeah. So I guess F's in the chat for Jason, ladies and gentlemen. Let me play the clip. I added the lightning at the end because they tried, that was it. It was out of pity.
So, yeah. How about that?
Such an iconic horror movie villain. Just, why have him? Just everything about it. Just sees water coming and then vomits water for some reason. Just blah. And then lightning as well. Like, is that his spirit leaving his body? I don't understand.
So what they left on the cutting room floor is she looks down and it's a giant version of his head, and deformed younger Jason is coming out of the mouth, reaching at her.
Why?
What?
That makes even less sense. What?
Well, that's what it was even too much for them, and they cut it out of the movie.
Oh,
Too much of what? Like what was it?
Oh man, I think like the cherry on top is the fact that you have normal human Jason's corpse as a child lying there. I don't even know, is this real, or like, because it seems as if Sean sees this too. I don't know. This is so weird. But Jason is dead for now until he comes back in the sequel.
Jason is a dead child now.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. And
Left in the New York City sewer system.
And all's well that ends well. He finally gives her back her necklace, which she lost after getting kidnapped, and they plan on visiting the Statue of Liberty.
New Jersey.
Yeah, they plan on visiting the Statue of Liberty in New Jersey, okay?
Every one of their classmates and friends are dead.
Yep.
It's still a happy ending. They didn't like them anyway.
Listen, the dog survived, man. All right, that's all we need.
Her favorite
Boomer
teacher's dead.
has lived.
Yeah. And that was
Her
it.
uncle is dead, who was actually like the one she was living with, so now she's homeless technically.
And like technically her favorite, like I think the closest person that she was with in this movie was the teacher. And all right, that was it. Like she's dead too. And no, not even a word of. Oh,
they're
man,
also
yeah,
definitely going to be investigated for all of those murders. There's
Oh,
no way
100%.
they're
For
not.
sure, because the only thing they have proof of Jason is a dead body of a boy.
Which is quite suspicious. Like, if you crawl out of a sewer and then anyone investigates and they discover a dead child down there, then they might start asking questions.
Well, you see, this child was an undead man that was like.
Oh yeah,
6'5".
the police gonna believe that?
That
Likely
happens
story.
every day in Manhattan. They'd be like,
Unlikely
"Yeah, it's another
story.
dead kid."
Would this dog approach murderers? Seriously, that's the real question.
I don't know, man. Like it's so weird. It's just you know what? It's so weird. Let me give you some behind the scenes pictures, man. Just to end the stream. This is how we'll cap off the stream, man. Here's the huge disco set, and then there's Julius versus Jason. Just give it a pose, and then
I can see exactly why that was so hard to film in. They had no room whatsoever.
Yeah, man.
No
room to move the camera.
Yeah.
So why do it? Like,
Yeah,
it
that's
adds
just- that's
nothing.
really
It's so much time and effort and money, and it doesn't achieve anything. So why not do something cheaper and easier that does do something?
You're crazy.
I mean, they probably built the set and didn't realize the dimensions or something. There's probably miscommunication. And they ended up getting there and they're like, oh, fuck, we can't do shit here.
The whole movie seems like it was miscommunication, just from start to finish.
True. Now, this is one thing I like about behind the scenes images about slashers and stuff like that and horror villains is when you see the dude that's just murdering everyone and they're all having fun, taking selfies. And there it is. And so that's Colleen on the right, the teacher, and on the left is one of those dudes that ran away from Jason. That's pretty much it. But yeah, those are all the behind the scenes stills that I have. And that was Jason Takes Manhattan, Friday the 13th, Part 8. Ooh.
Wow.
There was a period of time a few hours ago when I didn't know anything about this movie, and I would like to go back there.
Yeah,
like guy.
I'm a simple producer, okay? I don't make the decision.
You were giddy when I picked this, so
only because I knew it was going to be hilarious with Mahler on here, especially.
Yeah.
I wasn't happy. Jason skips New Jersey.
Skips New Jersey, yeah.
So he just goes right down to Philly. He's just Jason in Turnpike Traffic would be the sequel.
Yeah. Well, the sequel is Jason Goes to Hell. But go ahead, Mahler.
I just want
So
to say,
he does go to New Jersey.
I'll share my favorite line reading of the whole film. I got the clip ready.
Huh?
It's not this lady. It's gonna be the response. It's a classic.
Jesus. Have you guys seen my dog? I think he came this way.
Would you like to do a second take? Nope, that's good. We'll
One
run
more
with that one.
time.
Have you guys seen my dog? I think he came this way.
More so, I guess.
Holy fuck.
Oh,
so
man.
good.
So imagine what the original actor was like for them to fire his ass 2 weeks into filming for this, man. Oh god.
I like the everybody in the chat is slowly having Jason work his way down the east coast of the United States.
Man, Friday the 13th as a franchise is actually in limbo because of the copyright holders. Since New Line Cinema doesn't exist anymore, I think there's an issue with copyright where it was split between two people. So
Yes,
one person, yeah, go ahead, Cynic.
I believe one person owns the rights to Jason and one to the name Friday the 13th.
Yeah, so it's kind of complicated. That's why we haven't seen a Friday the 13th film since the 2009 movie, basically. They were working
a sequel called like Friday the 14th or something. It can be like the month after.
Yeah,
problem solved.
Yeah, they could. But I don't know. I just think that Friday the 13th is kind of a dead franchise. It should stay that way. I don't see any way that you can revive this. It's
revival's not necessary. I thought they were making a TV show, or as
they were.
Yeah.
Well, they were making a Camp Crystal Lake TV show, but I don't know. That's in development hell. It's been in hell for like 5 years now. At this point, it's just dead.
And they had a game that got shut down.
Oh yeah, it did because of the copyright issues too. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Man, sadly.
Game was
Jedi
terrible
Brooks
anyway,
says-
though. So that's how everyone wins when there's just no media for it. There we go. We'll bury it. Thank goodness.
Yeah, Brooks. That is the reason why he isn't in Dead by Daylight. Actually, it was because of the copyright stuff.
Wasn't he in it for a little while and then they had to remove him? That was the situation with Dead by Daylight. Yeah,
it was. Yeah. So sadly,
I tried that game before it came out at PAX East years ago. I was like one of the first people to play that game. It was, and then the fact that it's still hanging around I'm impressed because I didn't really think it was that great back then. So
It has changed a lot since its release. I played it on release. It's actually amazing that it's still going. But those IPs injected life into it. It's funny because I'm pretty sure they had rights issues with Stranger Things. The Demogorgon and the maps for it had to go out and then back in again because they've got fucking everything in there at this point. In fact, we were making jokes about this, like the fact that the Fisherman isn't in there is evidence of how little cultural impact. Like, you can't even get it Dead by Daylight.
Oh man, yeah, Dead by Daylight is kind of like the Fortnite of horror at this point, just collecting. Yeah. Oh man, but yeah, that was Jason Takes Manhattan, dude. Incredible.
We did it.
Yeah, we survived. Yeah, we survived. We survived.
We do have some super chats. I just can't pull them up like I normally would, so someone else is going to have to.
Cynic, you're muted.
I got it.
Okay. Just double checking.
J-Mac gifted 20 Little Platoon memberships.
Thank you.
Dang. Thrill House for $2. Hi, is Jack Skellington's character arc anti-trans?
I don't even know who is that.
Jack Skellington
is.
What?
I don't think I do. Who? Remind me. Maybe I do.
Good Lord.
The skeleton from Nightmare Before Christmas?
Oh.
You don't know him?
I don't actually think I've ever seen it. No, I don't know him.
No, what?
My heart.
Wow.
I'll add it to the list. Is it a Christmas movie or a Halloween movie?
It's both.
Yes.
It's a both. Yeah. Okay. I'll put it on Christmas because I can't stand another fucking Harry Potter omnibus.
Hostman's Lounge for $4.99. Which is gayer, Nightmare on Elm Street 2 or Jason Takes Manhattan? It's Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
The answer is always Nightmare on Elm Street.
I was gonna say, it might be the gayest film.
He literally comes out at the end of the movie, dude.
Sammy 3Pete for $1.99. World's Worst Uncle Award? No, not even close. Especially when you see his fate compared to what he did.
There are way worse uncles.
Oh yeah.
John the Man Good for $10. Yo, Cynic, what's going on with your boy Bagface? He's wilding out on Twitter with Beyond Andrew level takes. Ask Platoon, he'll tell you about it. Damn, media literacy really lost its meaning. Well, Bagface is his own man. He does whatever he wants as long as he's editing my videos and doing a good job.
he does go on these
does whatever he wants.
He does go on these benders of like just going nuts on Twitter and then disappearing for
I
4 months.
I hear about that, but you know, I just employ him. So
you're not his dad. You're just his employer.
Yeah, I can't tame that man. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Melvin Deeply for $2 fake. It still beats Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
You know what? It is shorter. So I just rewatch it. Yeah.
Got some Once Upon a Time in Hollywood hate, huh?
Yep, oh yeah.
Melvin. Every
time
stream
from Melvin. Every stream, yeah. Big time from Melvin.
Hostman's Lounge for $4.99 more. Thank you, Hostman. Alice Cooper wrote, "He's back, the man behind the mask for Friday the 13th in '86. It still slaps as a song." Yeah, that one does slap. It's true. He wrote that for part 6.
I agree. Yeah. It does slap.
I didn't know that he wrote it specifically for the movie, man.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool to know.
Platoon, you want to read that one?
Is that because you can't pronounce it again? That's not even hard to pronounce. It's Christian Dorito, I think. For €2, watching you guys always gets me in a good mood. Well, I'm glad to hear it. Just don't watch the films we watch because it'll put you in a bad mood again.
Well, I mean, we over on my channel, we usually watch good ones. So we'll talk about that in a little bit, though.
Yeah, like AVP.
Yeah. TGV Monster for $4.99. Hi everyone. Part 7 is my fave, or should I say Carrie versus Jason. Halloween is best holiday. Yeah, part 7 is probably my favorite one too, because he looks so cool in that one. The costume design is fantastic in that one. And the kills,
having to fight Yeah, him having to fight someone with like who's using psychic powers is also pretty interesting at the end.
I mean, it's super goofy, but fuck it. Yeah, just let
that
it go.
essentially happens when he fights Freddy.
Yeah.
Wobbling around in dreams and stuff.
Wolfsbane for $1.99. They don't make hockey masks like they used to.
Mm.
No, now they're just like they're more like a catcher's mask in baseball now.
John Gates for $5. Did you make sure to mention how Jason got in the river in the beginning because he fought a psychic girl whose dead dad dragged him under? Yes, I did.
What?
Yeah, we did.
That's what I said. I said
that was mentioned. You said a ghost dragged him into the water, which makes sense.
Yes, indeed.
Man, part 7, dude. It's just all right.
That one is a good one, but there's like too much nudity in that one to be able to discuss it on the stream.
That's true. It's a ton of nudity, man.
This was highlighted, so
yeah.
I'll just Jackson, I probably Voorhees. Originally, there was supposed to be a scene where Jason fought in a boxing ring in Manhattan. One of the many scenes cut due to budgets. Yeah, someone mentioned that.
It's crazy to think that they had, they literally had the call to say, yeah, this is called Jason Takes Manhattan. They had the audacity to just say, slap it on there, slap it in the marketing. Literally, the trailer is just Frank Sinatra's New York instrumental, and then Jason staring at the Manhattan skyline. That's it. That's the trailer. It's like, how could you fumble it so hard, man?
Luke Umbra for $9.99. I know most of any genre is bad, but I feel like that's doubly true for horror movies.
Horror movies has the biggest slice of the pie when it comes to shitty movies. I will give you that.
Probably true.
That's kind of like the misconception of the horror, because if horror is done very well, it could probably be one of the best films you've ever seen. But horror is done so shittily because people think that horror is the easiest thing to do, especially up-and-coming filmmakers. People think the horror is the easiest thing to do because you can just get through schlock or you can do anything like that. But horror is actually one of the genres which requires the most finesse in terms of writing. Because as I always say, horror shouldn't be 100% horror. Horror should be a secondary genre in its own genre. So basically, if you want a good horror movie, you have to do, let's say, a drama, and then you wrap the drama in horror. That's basically all the great horror films are like that. And I feel like people who go into horror aren't competent enough to see that that is how you have to do horror, which is why we get a ton of schlock. Plus, it's also cheap. It makes the most money at the box office as well, despite the budget.
I think that's why there was such a rise of gore porn over the years, because there was no story to it. It was just, hey, how many crazy deaths can we fit into one movie?
I mean, that's what the Terrifier series is right now.
Which was done well, like maybe 2 or 3 times, and then every other time it's been tried is just how like it becomes just gross after a while. It's not even fun to watch.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. John Gates for $2 more. Elm Street and Crystal Lake. Everyone forgets murder. Yeah, they just keep on living in the next film.
Yeah, Elm Street is just like, yeah, we have a killer around. Yeah, all right, cool. He haunts your dreams. All right, cool.
Well, at least in the case of Nightmare on Elm Street, they try to actively be like, it's not real. It doesn't actually that's not going on, and so there's at least that. Camp Crystal Lake makes no sense. Why people just forget that shit happens just once every few years. There's a mass murder that happens at this camp, and we're gonna reopen it over and over again.
It's true.
Wolfsbane for $1.99. No, black is fine. Most of us aren't from Africa.
Oh, that was because I said that was black.
Black.
Yeah, African American male.
Well, you got an African dude. You got a half African, half French dude on the panel, who's half cat as well. So that works in well.
Coyote 1 for $5. The TV series is only called Friday the 13th because the producer had the rights to the title. Someone ask AI if that's true.
It sounds believable. I mean, they do sometimes try to expand, franchises into these very different genres. Is it Halloween 3 is the one that has nothing to do with
Season of the Witch? Yeah,
that's the one. Season of the Witch. It's like, well, let's try and make Halloween the umbrella title for a number of like not really connected stories, except loosely thematically and in genre. It very rarely seems to work though when your franchise is anchored around such a memorable looking character as Michael Myers or even Jason. So
Travis Mitchell said, best scene in the film, I think, is Jason wrecking the diner. His reflection off the shattered glass, the waitress's reaction, and the sound design of him walking makes it intimidating. Yeah, that was like a cool 3-4 seconds in that movie.
Yep. You know, one thing that I find funny about the Friday the 13th franchise is that there are 12 movies, man. They're missing an opportunity there, you know? The reboot was the 12th film, so they can finally make 13 and 13 and be done with it. But yeah, that'll never happen. So I checked on Wikipedia. Wikipedia says that there's an untitled Friday the 13th movie in production, but every single slide is it like who's the writer, who's everything. Everything is just right TBA, 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 TBA. So that's probably in development hell as well.
Yep. Case the Ace 128 for $4.99 said, "Good evening, all. Love you guys. Completely unrelated comment, but curious as to why Cynic or anyone for that matter hasn't done a Terrifier 3 review. I did just see Terrifier recently, but I've been pretty busy, so I'll probably at least drop like a short review about it on the second channel, or like an actual short or a YouTube short or whatever, maybe."
I haven't seen it, so I can't. Plus, not really my thing. So
I'm just not a huge fan of Terrifier in general. I like Art the Clown as a personality.
It's going to, if you are enjoying that series, which there's definitely a little audience that is, since it opened at #1. There's diminishing returns at this point already. Like,
yeah, my massive problem with Terrifier is the runtime.
And it's 2.5 hours.
2 hours long. Yep. Exactly.
So ridiculous.
They should know Golden Rule is an hour and a half for these sorts of movies.
Yeah, definitely. But this
Damien Leone said that he was going to fix it. He said that if he ever makes a 4th one, he's going to go 90 minutes. That's my big problem with the Terrifier movies. For what it is way too long. It drags out way too much. And if you don't find Art the Clown entertaining as the movie wants you to find him, then you're probably not going to have fun with it. I do enjoy Terrifier 1 and 2, though. I still haven't seen 3.
Because it's just the story's going on, and mileage varies on if you find that interesting. And then there are just moments where Art the Clown's causing mayhem in some unrelated part of the movie. So you're just kind of sitting around waiting for those moments to happen. But I got a few more here. Again, my channel for California, $2. For next week, may I humbly suggest Spawn 1997. Dark Hour asked me to save that.
Yeah, I was going to say save that one because it's fine. I'll just say what I was going to say. So, to my knowledge, Cynic, you're planning on just still doing these like more intermittently, right? Like not like in place of regular B-Sup.
Yeah.
So I will make a little promise here. So we have me and Uninspired, the link's been dropped a few times in chat. I've been trying to get our repost channel up to monetization level. If we can get that up in, well, let's say to 500 subscribers, I will add Spawn 97 to the 2-host schedule, which is this exact format you've seen, and that will be a special for anybody who's interested in that. Which it seems to be, if someone's willing to pay $2 to suggest it, I think that there's some interest there.
Yeah, Spawn 97 would be a lot of fun to do like this.
And I will try to bring whoever from this panel back. Well, Uninspired has to do whatever I put on the schedule.
Well, yeah. Dark Hour is just like, here's the schedule. Okay.
Mega Spidey Man for $2 fake bucks. Who's better and why? Michael or Jason? Michael's better because he actually has a couple really great movies.
That's true.
I think I like Jason better.
Personally. I think I like Jason better as well.
It's pretty close though. They're very similar in the fact that neither of them really talks. I mean, Jason occasionally has his flashback talking as a kid.
Jason says sometimes.
Yeah, but
isn't Michael Myers though supported by like an evil cult of devil worshipping?
Depends on what timeline.
Yeah, oh fuck, there's timelines. Oh god. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, there are timelines.
Yeah, it's kind of like Texas Chainsaw. They also have timelines in that one too. Oh, it's annoying as shit. I don't know. I think Jason
have their max power though. Like, which is the most powerful version of Michael Myers? I would say the one that's supported by the devil's probably quite powerful, right?
Probably.
Whereas Jason, does he have any, like, he doesn't die, but does he have supernatural backers?
Well, he can die. He just doesn't stay dead.
Yeah.
He went through literal hell in one movie, so I don't think he's backed by
in the sequel to this, he goes to hell. So, I don't know. I still pick Jason because in my mind, when I see Jason, the first thing I see is Freddy versus Jason, and he's just cool as fuck in that. So, yeah.
I mean, I know that it's kind of a played out thing now because of every movie trying to rewrite history of villains, but there's a tragic nature to Jason, whereas I don't feel like there's as much of that. I mean, depending on the timeline, I guess, for Michael Myers, but there's not quite as much of a tragic, and I think that adds just a little bit more depth to the character.
Yeah, Jason's a much better written character than Michael Myers.
I mean, it's splitting hairs.
Let's compare with Freddy. His fucking history is hilarious.
I think Freddy wins that automatically. Freddy's funny. Fred's one of the best
kills, slasher villains, despite all of the terrible applications. Robert Englund was single-handedly keeping that character alive.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. And even when they came back for is it Freddy's New Nightmare, the one where they actually break the fourth wall and do it in real life? Yeah, I love New Nightmare, dude. I think Freddy is probably one of the most iconic in comparison to the other two.
Wait, just because New Nightmare the one where it's isn't the writer in it, and then like the main characters are actors? Am I getting that confused?
What did you think of that movie, Platoon?
I remember thinking it was quite bold of the writer to talk about how profound his own movie was from within his own movie, which wasn't profound.
And that's the nicest thing you could say about it.
But yeah, Jason all the way, man.
And the last one is Seki Jokes for 451. 451 for $5. The best Jason kill is from Jason X, where he kills a hologram of two scantily clad teenage girls by stuffing them into bags, beating one with the other.
Yeah, I mentioned that earlier in the stream. That's one of my favorite Jason kills too. Even though it's not technically a kill because it's a hologram, but
that's why I like the cryo kill. That's a real kill.
That's true. Well, we have a uninspired created outro, right? So
yeah, this is the Halloween outro that I use usually for two hosts. Anyways, it's just
we usually we have the plug your shit segment, but I don't think we have that. So
I forgot to add that, but yeah. I guess, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to plug your shit. Now, imagine if there's, a butt plug and a toilet with shit inside swirling around. That's basically.
I would rather not. Thank you.
Maybe it's better we don't have that.
You've all seen that, though. It's not like it's.
I don't think seeing it again is helpful.
No, it's not going away. In fact, the wall just got 5 feet taller. Okay.
But yeah, I guess this is the part of the show where you let the people know where you're gonna be, what you're gonna do, what you've already done. So yeah, who should we? Well, Mauler, you are the guest, so let the people know where they can find you and what you're up to.
Oh, I'm on my channel, Maul, sometimes reviewing things, depends on if I've done it this year or not. And then second channel, EFAP, covering things here and there. I'm not even sure what our plans are for the next few weeks. I think Agatha's coming up again.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys like, we feel like we're the only people on the internet covering it.
I'm covering it. I have a video coming out either tomorrow or Wednesday.
Well, there you go. But I suppose the more important thing to mention is the EFAB Halloween plushie set that we got going. It's the grab it while you can, cuddly little guys collection. And as far as I'm aware now, it's once each of them hit 1,250 sold, you're going to get a guaranteed, from what I gather, playthrough of Gollum from Wolf, Rags, and Fringy, because they're uninitiated, you see. And then, watching them go through that, I think, is going to make any amount of pain from terrible media worthwhile. If only Tolkien could watch it, get his reaction.
I'm sure he's up in heaven or wherever it is he is. Just yeah.
Like, what the fuck? I got out of there before it got real bad. But yeah, thank you so much for having me. I thoroughly enjoyed discussing Friday the 13th, Part 8. I was about to say Freddy Takes Manhattan.
I actually searched for that earlier before finding the movie. I got it confused in the same way. Freddy Takes Manhattan, Googled it. It's like, no. But actually, it sounds like a really good film. I want to watch it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I guess I move on to Cynic. What about you, man?
I don't even know what I'm up to next. I think Venom 3 is coming out, so I'm gonna.
Next week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mahler, I wanted to personally thank you for coming on, because this was I wanted to get you on as a guest for BSUP at some point, and I just thought it would be great to have you on for this particular movie.
I've been on BSUP before, haven't I?
Yeah. It's been like a year and a half, I think. So
too long.
It's been too long, sir. Yes.
Sooner than that next time. We'll talk about all kinds of things.
It's more that you've secretly done something to offend him, and he wanted to punish you by subjecting you to Friday the 13th Part 8.
It's like, this is what you wanted to bring up.
Luckily for Cynic, he has like an attack dog. Just like, go get that person on my show now, and I'm just like, okay, I'll go do it. I have no connection with them whatsoever. I'll figure out a way. Don't worry.
What about you, Platoon?
For the sheer lack of anything else to do, it's just Rings of Power, which I'm way, way, way behind on. So I still need to finish. Well, the season 1 thing should finish, I think, midweek. I think it's out of copyright hell at that point. And then it's just going to be sort of tiding over with season 2 until something else comes out that I can actually move on to cover instead. So yeah, there will be videos.
Is that how you do copyright now? You just accept it and just wait for them to let it go, sort of thing?
In some instances, it will depend on how fucky they're being. But with that video, there are so many, and it keeps doing it, and I just ran out of time and patience, and it's so untime sensitive at this point. I thought, fuck it, I'll just appeal it, give it 7 days. They almost never actually look at the appeal, so hooray.
Okay.
All right. Dark Hour, what about you, man?
So we have 2 hosts coming up on Saturday with Platoon is on that one. I'm not sure if he's aware that he's on that one. We have Platoon, we got Echo Chamberlain, we got Films Comics Explained, Kurtosis. We're all doing Terminator on the 40th anniversary of Terminator.
We're doing
which is really
the
cool.
Terminator.
The Terminator, the original Terminator, on literally its 40th anniversary. Which is awesome. Just worked out like that in the schedule. And I'm releasing an Agatha video and whatever else comes up. I mean, obviously, 2 Hoes continues, BSUP continues. Wherever I show up, and that's kind of how I roll nowadays.
Well, as for me, I've got a new video finally coming out very, very soon. Normally, it's supposed to be out just in time for Halloween. Hopefully, it's going to be on Monster House, which I think is, people kind of forgot about, but I like the movie, so yeah, I'm going to be breaking that down. It'll be my first video in about a year. I think finally have time to do it, so I'm really, really glad to be back on YouTube. But yeah, as Dark Hour said, 2 hosts on Saturday, and of course the other Saturdays too. And just wanted to say thank you to Cynic and Platoon for having 2 hosts on and doing the BSUP invasion, and also thank you to Mahler for coming on as well.
No problem.
Thank you for doing all of the work. It's great. You're more than welcome to come back.
It's my pleasure, man. I love prepping these streams. I love doing all this stuff. So I do.
Yeah, when he told me that when we first became partners, and he was like, "Hey, I don't want to do any of that like marketing shit and meeting and having to get people on. I just want to do the tech stuff." I was like, "Abso-fucking-lutely. You do all of that, and I'll handle the rest." That's where this all kind of went.
Yeah. But Cynic, before we do finish, we have 2 more super chats. That
I saw those. All right, John Gates again for $2 more. Thanks, sir. Trump on EFAP movies when? Maybe a gaming stream.
Yeah, I mean, he'll have to figure out what he wants to jump on for. You know,
if he becomes president, you might have to wait a few years.
He'll make room for EFAP. Obviously, he'll come right on.
He'll teach you how to bag McDonald's fries, dude. He'll give you the perfect bagging of McDonald's fries.
Can you imagine if he was like, I'd like to cover Jason Takes Manhattan. My favorite movie.
I would assume he would want to cover one of the movies he like cameoed in. It'd probably be like Home Alone 2.
Home Alone
2.
Yeah. And John Gates sent in $2 more, and he said he can play Gollum and have to pretend he likes it.
Hell yeah.
It's the greatest game I've ever played.
That sounds like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That's true. Yeah, that's the best Arnold.
There's really a lot of all of us in Gollum.
I don't have a good Trump voice, so I can't really.
Yeah, all right. Notice.
I don't partake in that like side of making fun of things very often. So
but yeah. I guess that concludes Beast Up Breakdown number 2. Jason Takes Manhattan.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. Normally Dark Hour ends the stream because he has the timing right. So I'm probably gonna fuck up the timing. So forgive me in the chat. But hey, bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye.